Getting used to an early start is no easy task for any person or a team for that matter, and Central Michigan playing their earliest slate in almost as 10 years before September 20th. Despite a season opener loss yesterday to Ferris State for the first time in nearly 4 years and 6 from their barn, they return to a place they've had a lot of success with dating back to last season. It's Central Michigan and Ferris State in game number 2 of this weekend opening series. Hi everybody, happy to be with you. I'm Devin Serra, pinch hitting today once again for Reagan Cleves. Alongside me, Parker Morrison. Great to have you once more.
Of course.
And Parker, yesterday we saw a very entertaining game to the end. Central Michigan with a late surge from the help of Sam Kamara and a late goal. They were 0 for 5 though on the special team power plays, allowed 2 power play goals themselves to the likes of Ryan Bigler, who's going to be one guy to watch in this one. Central though coming in with 5 wins at home dating back to last season. It sets the stage for what's a great opening matchup.
Well, Devin, the Marty is a different atmosphere for a lot of these guys on home ice, and we were able to catch up with one of the captains, newly made captains of the Central Michigan Chippewas, Owen Campbell. He said that it's just something about the atmosphere at the Marty, and that when they come back here, they know and they feel like they're going to win, and it's just a whole entire different game environment for them, so that's something to look out for tonight.
The students have been walking in here for the last 30 minutes, coming through the turnstiles, if you would, more like a table set up with a cash register, but the point is, they're going to have an environment here today, and it should bode them well to get excited in this one. Taking a look at some of the changes being made, you might see Brendan Martin with his third tenured year switch up some of those special teams lines because that power play struggled mightily, especially in the middle part of that game.
Well, Devin, like you just said, they did struggle heavily. 0-5 on the power play, not something you ever see out of this Chippewa team. They're usually up where they're in the 60, 70, maybe even 80 percentile mark, and they sat yesterday at a whopping 0. So that's something that Brendan Martin's definitely going to have to change up. Yesterday was kind of a feel out where everyone is mark for a lot of the lines, but that special teams, that power play line is definitely going to change today. That's almost a guarantee for you.
All right, and that's some things we can talk about coming up in the pregame show as we continue on before game number 2 of this season. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the pregame show presented by CMHIceHockey.com. Back with you for the pregame show presented by CMHIceHockey.com. And Parker, you just made the note that this place is looking pretty filled so far. I'd say we got about 100 or so expected people in here from the student standpoint, even more with the family members coming in. So we're going to have an environment here for this first opening series for Central Michigan. And talking about this opening series some more, yesterday was the first time that Ferris State beat the Chippewas in a while. The 2022 game from this barn was the last time Ferris State won. That was a 3-2 mark. Central usually has their way with this team, but the Bulldogs did a lot of things well, as we'll get to. Central, though, yesterday was an 0-for-5 mark on their power play. Now, last year, they were sitting at a 20% mark on the year. Not great from a scoring standpoint, but that was generally the story with this team anyway. However, the big stat we have is that they have won their last 5 games on home ice, dating back to last year. Look at those final 8 games of the season. It started with the upset against, at the time, number 12, Oakland. Then they took down Illinois State, Northwood in a split, and then upset against the reigning national champions in Michigan.
Devin, I think that big game was a season closer for a senior night against Michigan. I mean, beating the reigning national champions is going to give you guys such a boost, and it definitely gave the guys such a boost going into playoffs. I mean, it obviously didn't go the way that they wanted it to, but a lot of the guys, even talking to them last night and even today, said that, they're kind of riding that high a little bit still, and they want to take that team and that energy and what they did that night and bring it over to tonight, and I think we might see that.
Yeah, that was a raucous senior night, but they had a great second semester stretch, opposite of what was the first semester when they had a number of losing games in a row. All right, when you look at the Ferris State side of things, 8-19 on the year last season. They mightily struggled to score, but they had that upset against number 1 Grand Valley State, which ended up having some factors within the national tournament play. Now this year, we got a chance to catch up with Nolan Smith, their second-year head coach, before the game, and I asked him just what that was like getting in the offseason with some of their leaders. This team is very much a player-led group with the likes of Brendan Karn, their captain, who's been here for ages, has really stepped up as a leader in that regard. And you saw it yesterday with how good that top line was. Guys like Trevor Van Vliet, Ryan Bigler, and Brendan Karn making big plays at the right times.
Well, Devin, I want to real quick go back. You mentioned Nolan Smith being their coach, and I think something that's really helped them is just him being on the bench. I mean, he built that Aquinas hockey team up by himself, ground zero, build that thing up. And I mean, you know what? They didn't play, like a reigning national champ team. However, he knows what it's like to go from the ground nothing to build that team up, and I think he's really doing that with Ferris State here today and even last night. I mean, we saw it in a lot of guys that, were notable on the team last year but didn't really show the point value that they have this year, and I think we're going to see that again tonight. It's just, you mentioned people like Van Vliet, who was a monster last year, continues to be a monster today, and even last night he was just absolutely dominant all over the ice. And then Scott York, Devin, I want to talk about him, the goalie, the starting goalie, not only last night but tonight as well. One of the best performances, and coincidentally enough, only his second victory for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and part of the conversation we had with that coaching staff was, well, Lucas Danduran, has been their promedio starter for the last couple of seasons, talking mainly about last year. And, you slot in a guy like Scott York, who hasn't had a lot of experience, but he showed that he's up to the task. 52 saves on 54 shots. That's got to be a career high for him in the ACHA. And starting him tonight, I asked Nolan Smith, is you doing that because of momentum? He said, absolutely, you got to ride the hot goalies. So, you mentioned Trevor Van Vliet as well. Tied 5th in the MCHC West in points last year, and one of the top point getters for this Ferris State team all time in their club history. He's tied for 9th with 96. All right, looking at the series history briefly, 7-4 all-time. Central Michigan leads this series. 4 of the 6 last events have gone to the Chippewas, but we talked about last night being the first win for the Bulldogs in their own arena against the Chippewas since 2018. Now, Central has an opportunity to split here, obviously, but for Ferris State, that's a big mark because this program has had a hard time with their early out-of-conference games, if you would. This is an MCHC West, MCHC game. So this kind of bodes well for Ferris' state side if you look at just a current versus historical perspective.
Well, Devin, starting the season for them in a matchup that they don't typically win against the Chippewas is a great start for them, especially being out of conference. As you mentioned, their conference got a lot tougher this year, and starting the season on a win against somebody that you don't usually get that against, That's going to give their morale a big, big boost. So tonight, CMU's got to look to shut that down. They've got home ice advantage. They got a lot of fans in the barn.
Yeah, and as you can see on the graphic, I mean, looking at just last season, that upset win over Grand Valley State, that was late in the year. A lot of guys at the top line of this roster made that happen, so that'll be something to look for. Their top groups all over the place. Parker, let's look briefly at your keys to the game presented by SeamitchIceHockey.com. I want to talk about those and then get to your players to watch.
Well, Devin, the keys to the game, the biggest thing that I'm going to be looking at tonight is that power play. As you mentioned, Ferris State and CMU are both very, very physical teams, and somebody's going to end up in the box, Devin. It's as simple as that with these teams. They're chippy, they're physical, and it's going to get heated as per usual. So when CMU gets on those power play opportunities, you've got to take advantage of that. Okay. Secondly, finishing loose pucks is a must for CMU. There were a lot of open shots that they weren't able to capitalize on last night, and that could have tightened the lead a little bit against the Bulldogs. And last but not least, Devin, helping Woolery on defense. We were able to talk to the new assistant and goaltending coach, Thomas Rofe, for the Chippewas earlier today, and he said that CMU's really got to catch the shooter on those 2-on-1s instead of just going for the pass, and that's something that they struggled with last night, with the Bulldogs having more than enough rushes for the night.
Yeah, and great points to make. Your players to watch, now presented by Optimex Sports, your go-to for all things ACHA websites and more. Give them a shout for a free trial at OptimexSports.com. All right, who you got?
Well, Devin, the same Chippewas as last night. Owen Campbell, Caleb Woolery, and as I just mentioned, talking with Thomas Rofe, who's kind of mentoring Caleb Woolery in that way, only being a sophomore. He played well last night, but the defense just needs to step up and help him out. So if we get that changed up for tonight, I think Woolery has quite the game. Same with newly made captain Owen Campbell. He was a top scorer, the top scorer, 25 games played, 12 goals, 13 assists, 25 in total for last season for the Chippewas. Looking for him to perform the exact same tonight. And for the Club Dogs, we got Ryan Bigler, number 22. He had 2 goals last night, and he was all over the ice, and it started with that beautiful redirect he had in the very first period. And secondly, 29, Scott York. I think that's a given, Devin. The amount of saves that man had and how well he dominated his crease, dominated the net, and dominated the Chippewas. There's no other player that you'd put at number 2.
So you're looking at the goaltending matchup like it was great last night as the key factor in this one. I think it will play out that way as well. Watch for special teams, but hey, this is a great environment. This is an awesome raucous barn tonight, and we're going to have one heck of a game, it looks like, between two teams that have some bad blood in their hands. Central going for the split. Ferris State looking for their first sweep of the Chippewas in a number of years. We're going to find out next. Stay with us. Puck Drop is next for the season opener on CCHN.
Welcome back to CCHN, your starting goaltenders for today, starting with the Ferris State Bulldogs. The one, the only Scott York played phenomenally yesterday. We'll see what he can do today. Moving to your Central Michigan Chippewas. Starting goaltender Caleb Woolery played phenomenal as well last night, and it's going to be a goaltending battle. Devin, take us through the starting lineups.
Thank you, Parker. Starting lineups first for the visitors, Ferris State. Their defensive pairings will be Jet Gilroy and Colton Cundiff, the alternate captain. Ian Gaffney, one of their leading scorers from last year, along with their captain, Brendan Karn, and 15, Chase Adams, who was hunting for pucks all day. Now time for Central Michigan. Your starters is the third line today. Jake Bishop along with Nathan Bottles. And they get the defensive pairing, Sam Camara in there with Brandon Clements. Also mentioned Julian Johnson, who's stepping in as the face-off man. 24-25 from Martin Ice Arena. We are back home together again, and it's so great to be here. Now time for puck drop underway between Central and Ferris for the finale of this series. First touch by Ferris State on their own end, Colton Cundiff. Rimmed it around his own boards. First one chipped along by Carnes, sent off to Clements. That defensive pairing was busy. Camara had one of the only 2 goals for Central yesterday on a scrappy redirection in front of the net with about 4 minutes to go. It was too little too late. We talked about most of the story being the lack of special teams for Central Michigan. 0 for 5 on their power play, but allowed 2 power play goals to the middle part of that game to Ferris State's forecheck. In Central's own end, Clements takes it back. Heads it along for Bottles. Gives and go for Julian Johnson, who gains the right line to dump off. First changes for both teams of this hockey game.
Devin, the tape-to-tape is already going significantly better for the Chippewas. No missed passes thus far, and that is a sign of something good to come.
Gilgren tried to hook it over to Camara and got it taken away, stolen by Van Vliet. He had a goal yesterday, which was the 3rd of their hockey game. And, you know, for somebody that has always been a perennial goal scorer is Van Vliet, and a little hit taken out in front of the Central bench. Siraki laying lumber to peel. Van Vliet was tied for 5th last year in points in the MCHC West. He's 9th all-time in Ferris State scoring with 96. And Owen Campbell is upset about the icing call in the attacking zone.
Yeah, he said he definitely beat him there, but not going to get that reverse, so...
Central Michigan, head coached by Brendan Martin in his 3rd season, took over from Tyler Cataline during a midseason change. Had his opening win against Grand Valley State at the time, what was a major upset for Central Michigan, propelled them to what was a Nationals appearance. Last year didn't go so well, the first time they missed Nationals since the 2018-19 year. Meanwhile, Ferris State, head coached by Nolan Smith in his 2nd year, hasn't seen the light of day for a while. They've played in a very tough MCHC West that's been dominated by those Lakers, Hope College, and others. Central Michigan trying to get the forecheck back going. Morgan had to turn around and find that puck, lays the shoulder into a man, Vanderlaan in the corner. Ferris State, though, regained possession for just a moment, and they'll reset. Here's Van Vliet, steps aside one defender in Siraki. Now goes around Owen Campbell to the attack. Tries to toe drag to the middle. Has a man coming on the trail play. That's Joey DeMitchell. DeMitchell keeps the play alive to this left side. Puts one in front. Now it's given up. Here's Ryan Bigler. 2 goals last night. Given up one more time. DeMitchell. Great sprawling play from Lucas Hutton, the sophomore, to negate that chance. And back out to the neutral zone it goes.
Devin, one of those things to watch.
Van Vliet winds up, missed the net.
Was that helping defensive positioning, and CMU doing a much better job of that, helping Woolery out net front.
Yeah, so much so. Your conversation in the pregame show was Thomas Rowe saying they need to do a better job of preventing those, getting 2 defenders to 1 shooter so they can, 1, help screen the eyes and get some shooting lanes taken away, but also just help them with the rebound control because a lot of those shots at face value had to have been taken head on by Woolery. This one, a fast wrister that banked off the near boards, goes into the lap of Woolery, and he's going to melt it.
Ian Gaffney almost had some solid positioning there, beat past the blue line, almost got down to Woolery, but he'll glove that one up. Stoppage and play to slow things down.
Yeah, just trying to get their opening lines going. I mentioned no line changes for Central Michigan on the 5-on-5. You may see some changes to their power play considering they were anything but perfect yesterday. Here's Jace Johnson now. Sidesteps a hit in the attacking zone. Isaac Hopp trying to keep the motor engine revving. Camara at the point man. Will rim it this way. Catching up to it is Clements coming from his point spot to help out Isaac Gibbs. The King has returned down low. Isaac Gibbs missed as many as 10 games last year for Central Michigan during the middle part of the season. Still finished second of the team in points, but he has been a productive returning asset for them. Here's the Bulldogs in their own end trying to defend. Colton Cundiff turned it over to Clements. Couldn't find it after he turned around. Hop keeps the play going. Central looking to get some forecheck time sustained. 3 minutes gone already in this second game of this opening season. And this one, the first save for Scott York of this game, who made 52 saves on 54 shots. And Parker, you mentioned talking to head coach Nolan Smith. That was only his second start, I believe, or third start.
Yeah, it's his second winning game.
There you go.
For Ferris State. And, I mean, coming out against this team that you barely ever win against in the first time in 6 years in their barn, and that's your second ever win. That's a good stat to put on your roster.
Certainly, and they've got quite the tandem going there considering Lucas Danderan has been one of the better goaltenders in the MCHC dating back to last season. Now Trevor Van Vliet, check that, turning into the attacking zone. This is Nick DeMarty. DeMarty put up to the point man, flooded around a couple of bodies, ultimately deflected wide up into the netting, and the fans down below won't catch it. And by the way, there is a lot of them today. The Central Michigan faithful, Barstool CMU, shout out to them because they did a lot of promotion related to this game. And, you know, Parker, you told me something today. Central Michigan had their biggest recruiting class, the university, in as many as 10 years. So why wouldn't these students want to come out and support some athletics? It's great stuff to see. This one taken away by Jake Bishop, and Central might spring a 2-on-1 if they hurry. Bishop catches up to DeMarty. He ultimately holds the line and waits for help. Now that's an underrated play because he had Bottles streaking down the middle of the ice ready to collect that chip pass, and now this one is called away, I think, for a hand pass.
Yeah, it's going to be a hand pass. So we'll head all the way down to the Chippewa O-zone, left circle. And Devin, Scott York hasn't really been tested tonight thus far, even though CMU's retained most of the possession.
Still very early, but this is a similar story to what we saw at the beginning of yesterday's game, where it looked like Central the first 10 minutes controlled the pace of play. You know, they spent a lot of time regrouping the puck and cycling along the end boards, but they never really got a ton of high-quality chances to the middle. Obviously, Jake Bishop scored the opening goal of the season on a little bit of a redirection, but the point is they've gotten off to a good start so far. Still scoreless, though, however. Devin Serra in relief for Reagan Cleaves today. And, yes, I am alumni status. Don't worry. I'm not going to be coming back anytime soon. You won't have to worry about me. But Parker Morrison will be here. Great job stepping up in the CCHN team, and they'll have you with them the entire season, as now they are officially covering men's D3, men's D2, and women's 2. How exciting. Love to see it. Now here's Ferris State. We got a whistle. Saw it coming as the glove came off a Ferris State player. That was blown dead well before there was even a development of the play. And now we got some pushing and shoving on the far corner with a pair of 22s. That's Bigler getting into it with the sophomore, Lucas Hutton.
Yeah, Devin, it looked like originally it was going to be called against CMU, but we're going to see
our
Hutton
first
head to the box.
So an opening penalty here to the Chippewas.
And the refs looking to discuss now, seeing if they got the right call there.
Our rules analyst, Reagan Cleaves, across the way with a misconduct. Huh. Well, that's odd because all we saw from the far side was conversation. Certainly and I'm allowed to say this because I'm alumni status, but nothing really new sometimes. But
Devin, they've got 2 guys out on the ice right now.
right, but of course, if you talk,
And then-
I mean, yesterday, I say that because yesterday we saw a lot of stuff after the whistles, Parker, and it's a 5-minute, 5-on-5. Okay, we're good here. So thank you for that clarification. So they're keeping Lucas Hutton in the box. They're not going to put a power play up for Ferris State. It will remain even strength. Now, that's a good call because I didn't think that was worthy as this one trickles in on Woolery of any kind of penalty. But Hutton for his opening conversation, maybe just a tone setter. Maybe just a little bit of the referee saying, hey, here's how we're going to officiate this game. So credit to them for kind of their judgment there. 5-on-5. Only 5 minutes gone in this opening game from Martin Ice Arena. Devin Serra, our Roseanne. I'm going to say he's our Rose analyst today, Reagan Cleaves. Still watching the game. Hope he's feeling better. I think he is, though. And so Bulldogs trying to do what they did yesterday and start to kind of swing the side, the tilt to their favor as they're starting up an attack at the half boards. There's a one-on-one with Hop trying to take this one away. And Central, Isaac Gibbs the other way and had the puck deflected off a stick up and out of play.
Devin, that's the first real rush that the Chippewas have had in the first 6 minutes of this matchup. That's going to go deflected off the stick up into the rafters. And, you know, Devin, we talk about the rafters at Marty more than enough times.
Yeah, you can say that again. This arena always has those quirky characters. And I can remember a couple of times where the puck didn't just go into the netting. It actually got stuck in the sort of upper mantle of this barn with the, I want to say it's like a screen. I don't know what material it would be, but regardless, sorry about that issue there. Central still trying to defend out of their own, or attack on the zone, excuse me. Ferris State is the one on the attack. We have lost for now our on-ice microphones, so we will get those running soon if we can. 14:04 to go in this first period. Still scoreless. 5-on-5 play. Lucas Hutton given a 5-minute misconduct, so he'll sit for the part of the time. 10-minute, excuse me. Not 5 minutes. So Hutton will sit for a while, but Central looking to reclaim a lead. They got up to a 1-0 start yesterday in the early going of that first game with Jake Bishop. And that seemed to bode well for them for the most part until Ferris State got 2 goals within 3 minutes of each other. One of those on the power play from Bigler and then Trevor Van Vliet. Point is now it's still even, and we got a collision. Nathan Bottles getting into it there with DeMarty looking for the puck. Now Adams falls on it. Still loose, rims around the end board. First man to it will be Jack Guillory, and a delayed penalty coming up here on CMU. Ferris State with their goaltender Scott York going to the box. They'll have 6 men. Here's Colton Cundiff. Heads it on for Adams. Stretch pass. Wanted to connect to Ryan Bigler with 2 goals yesterday, but it went off his skate. And now Central will touch it, and we've got our first penalty.
Yeah, Devin, what happened there almost was Julian Johnson almost headlocked one of the Bulldogs there and took him down against the board. So he's going to head off to the box.
It's a holding call. So 2 minutes there. We just mentioned Hutton in the box for 10, but it wasn't a penalty that would possess a man advantage. Now they will. Ferris State goes to their first power play of the day. They were 2 for 4 yesterday, and without the 5-on-3 and 5-on-4 that Central killed, they were perfect on the power play until that point. So an important stage of this game. 13:21 to go in the first. It's Julian Johnson to sit.
Had to get a stoppage in play there real quick after the face-off. The penalty didn't hit the board here at the Marty, but a quick clear from the Chippewas.
Out of his net, Scott York to take it. We'll drop it off there for Colton Cundiff. Wants to align the troops. Ferris State had a very efficient forecheck, especially this power play. With a guy like this, Trevor Van Vliet, who was flying, had a solo effort goal yesterday that was beautiful, and he lost the puck. Great defensive work by Connor Morgan that time. But as good as this Ferris State power play looked, Parker, this Central Michigan penalty kill was one of the best last year, 78%. They only allowed 2 goals in their final 6 games over the penalty kill, and that included one of those big wins we mentioned against Michigan. So this group, although they had a tough going in the first game, we'll see them try and get back to true form in this one. 1:10 to go in the power play for Ferris State. Still no on-ice audio. We're getting that for you here shortly. Head pass along by Jack Gilvery. Leaves it for his man, and Trevor Van Vliet lost handle trying to get Ryan Bigler, his line mate. Central negates another chance. Ferris State hasn't gotten a quality look in this power play yet. It's 1 minute left in it. Over the line, they stay on side. Here's Joey DeMitchell. Drops it off for Bigler. Looks for a lane to shoot. He will. Right pad save. Up for grabs in the slot and cleared out to the right corner. Gibbs there with help coming from Camara. Wants to rim the boards. Kept down by Van Vliet. Settled. 35 to go. Van Vliet sidesteps Morgan. Takes one on net. The wrister doesn't get through. Isaac Gibbs defends it well. Glove down on the ice. That's Connor Morgan's. He's playing with only one glove on his right hand. Lost the left. Camara, rather Clements, is going to pin his man up against the boards. Help coming from DeMitchell, that side. Still cleared out, and now Connor Morgan skies it off the backside of Bigler. And more time is killed off. 12 seconds left. One more rush if the Bulldogs hurry, but that won't happen. So that's it. Central Michigan is going to kill off this first power play. A good start for them. 0 for 1 goes Ferris State. And that's what you talked about a lot, Parker, was better job by Central one-on-one in those corners, winning those battles and getting the puck free. Jace Johnson now, the talented sophomore, led the MHSAA in scoring 2 years ago. Stops, gets pounded to that far corner, and look at him on one leg. Andrew Peel said, hey, I'm going to face wash you here. Rapoon heads it lower for Gibbs. He'll push the play and look for Hop in the slot and turn it over to Ian Gaffney. Gaffney with speed now. Numbers coming the other way. Even drops it off. No man there to it. Now DeMitchell takes one on net, and that one scores. Joey DeMitchell goes upstairs as the penalty expired to give Ferris State the 1-0 advantage.
Now, Devin, there was a massive collision in front of the net there, and what happened was just that 2 Chippewas, 2 Bulldogs hit the deck, and usually that's where you clog the lane. That's where, those shots wouldn't typically go in because of how many players are just in the lane. The shots are going to get blocked. That puck is going to get stopped. Woolery had no option there other than to just try his best, and it unfortunately was not enough as that one hits the back of the net for the Bulldogs. Had a clear one-on-one open lane shot, and the Bulldogs go up 1, 10 minutes left to go.
DeMitchell's first goal of this season, first in this game. And, we talked to head coach Noah Smith before this, and Bulldog fans, excuse me if I may misinterpret the player, but I believe he said DeMitchell was one of those guys that was a late addition to this roster as soon as 2 weeks ago or so, maybe even last week. And DeMitchell obviously able to step up at this point, make something of a play that looked like it was a little bit broken. They had even numbers coming the other way. You heard Trevor Van Vliet get kind of taken out of the play, and then he was ready to pounce on a puck that was free at the left circle. So 1-0, Ferris State. Central trying to get some attack going with Gilgren now. Mishandled it. Gaffney, lead pass on for Chase Adams. He gets through the defense, goes hard to the net, score! Chase Adams works his way in on Woolery through the 5-hole, and it's 2-0 Ferris State.
And that's definitely going to be a tough one for Woolery. He had his defense out in front of him, 3 Chippewas, and nothing becomes of it. Toe dragged around through the skates of another, and then between his pads, drops down the puck, Bulldogs go up 2-0 with just over 10 minutes left to go, and we're back at center ice.
And boy, what a move that was from Adams to just get past the defender on the right side. Might have been Christopher Martin and make something of a play. Now Central's got to answer quick. And here's Jake Bishop, who had the opening goal of Central's season yesterday early in the first. And they really got to get something in the slot because right now Ferris State, I saw Nolan Smith in the handshake line saying, or the celebration line saying, keep it rolling. And Ferris State is rolling. They're in the slot looking for another chance on net. Van Vliet missed Bigler, so they have to go and retreat all the way back down. But Central is a little bit, feels like they got the wind taken out of their sails with 2 early strikes from Ferris State.
Yeah, Devin, that's definitely a tough blow to take this early in the matchup. 7:30 left to go, and CMU's just got to recollect themselves. As it's a battle of the blue lines for the first 10 minutes, and then now it's just been all Ferris State.
All Ferris State. as you mentioned, and this is really just continuing on what was the majority of the second half of that game yesterday. Especially, we talked about the power play being so much better for Ferris State, but I mean, right now this is the 5-on-5 they're succeeding in, and clearly they're putting Central in a position where you get 2 quick strikes like that now. Same things yesterday, within 3 minutes of each other, and I mean, Central's group's got to look for some sort of spark because it's not really happening yet. Still early in this one with 8:50 to go in the first period. And for Brendan Martin and that squad, we talked a lot to them in the offseason about, what is kind of the identity going to look like with some of these vets coming back, and Nathan Bottles, Porzondik, not here yet. He's going to be out for the first semester. But then, you look at a guy like Isaac Gibbs returning. That's where you're looking to get a lot of that scoring back and generate those chances. And well, so far, he hasn't really made himself too much of a factor yet. Again, early on. And here's a talented freshman in Maddox Grimes trying to make something of this play, wearing number 9, Will Rapoon's number today. Also a note, Nick Kuhn is in the lineup for Andrew Miller, who is normally number 20. Siraki gloved a puck down in front of York. He came out to play the puck and did not find center of it. Now it's put in front, this time by Gilgren. Siraki wasn't there in time. Bowerson keeps it going, half-wall chance, and into the glove of York, and he'll settle things down. And that looked like probably the most dangerous chance that we've seen CMU muster so far.
Well, Devin, that's a must-have opportunity, even though it didn't go in the net for CMU. They needed that to try to get a little bit more momentum swinging in their direction, because the past 5 minutes, it's all been at Ferris State. 2 quick ones right off the bat for them, and we're going to head back to the right circle here. CMU is going to try to put one home before period end.
Face off to the right dots. Gilgren tried the turnaround shot. That one missed well wide. Trevor Van Vliet in the far corner. We have our on-ice audio mics back. Isaac hops this one out of the blue line area, and now it's reclaimed by Gibbs. Has coming down the middle Bishop, defended in the middle by Smith. And Peels in to take this one on Van Vliet. And Gilgren send it up. We're going to get called for, looks like a high stick.
So that'll send it all the way back. Center ice. CMU Ferris State. Ferris State leading 2-0 as of now. And then Chippewas win that faceoff at center ice.
Isaac Gibbs with the give off to Peel. He'll send it down the length of the ice again. And there's not really too much cohesion and flow happening yet as Ferris State. They're going to call icing on this because he was behind the red line. They have created the cycle going. They have created a cycle going around the attacking boards, but you don't see them getting it to the middle of the ice, and that's credit to Ferris State's defense right now, making those plays become of, well, nothing at first, and then you need some sort of deflection, need some sort of dirty play. But here we go. Isaac Gibbs win the faceoff. Now the defenseman in Clements or Camara was ready to retrieve. Forwarded on. It's flipped over the stick of Jace Johnson and into the Ferris State bench. We talked about this early slate here. This is the earliest this Central Michigan team has really played in a season in a couple of years. And, the stat we have here is that when they opened up originally in the season, it's usually after the first 3 weeks of September, but it's the earliest start since the 2017-18 season. That began with a sweep of Augustana back then, and that was a year that was pretty successful. They went on to the national tournament that year, bowed out in the semifinals, so who knows? But the earlier you get some games, hey, maybe you get to catch another team that's just starting their season early. Grand Valley State doesn't have a game this weekend, so Chippewas will get them next week, and that is a tough customer to beat, considering they went to the national final last year. So, Trevor Van Vliet starts up the revving once again. Gets around, absorbs a check from Camara. Dropped it off in front. Woolery had to sidestep that puck with his left pad. Came in from Andrew Peel. Now the give and go Gibbs. Jace Johnson wants to speed in. He's up the right side. Passes it in front for Hop off the stick. Deflected ride. Clements one-times it. Got blocked in front and out to center. Here's Ryan Bigler. And his man, Joey DeMitchell, on the left side was offside. Clements takes exception to extra shot from Bigler. Now, that was after the whistle, well after. And that's just going to frustrate this Chippewa team more because Bigler really didn't need to put one on net like that. And the central bench is arguing with these officials because I think
Devin Bigler is actually going to
they want a penalty. And, yeah, he's going to get one for that. Yeah.
They're going to be sent off to the box. There are 2 minutes for him, and rightfully so, Devin. I mean, that was far after the shot. It was originally an offsides call as number 13, Joey DeMitchell for the Bulldogs, was well offsides on the rush from Bigler, and he'll get sent off to the box.
Yeah, and that looked like it was going to be developing of nothing, right? Joey DeMitchell, as you said, goes offside, and Bigler just has to let this puck go. But he gets called for the penalty, so this is an opportunity for Central now. Down 2-0 in this game early. Power play chance coming up here. Connor Morgan, the junior, one of those new alternate captains. Back to Gibbs, who's manning the point right now. Siraki, they've got 4 forwards on the ice and 1 defenseman in the captain Martin. Glove down by Siraki. They'll push it deeper. Morgan wants to chop it up. Martin takes one on net. Right pad save with the rebound chance. And Gibbs, I think York saw that and got a piece to the left half wall. Campbell wants to keep it going. Gets hooked down. Those players collide still. Martin looking for a lane to take it. Backdoor score! That went off the skate of Morgan in front. They answer. The first power play goal for the Chippewas. 2-1.
Devin Martin, the captain for the Chippewas, picks up the assist on that one. As we've got a little rough play on the ice from the Bulldogs after, but he's going to take that one top of the right circle, skate down, and puts one on. It actually goes off the skate of Morgan for the Chippewas, and he'll pick up his first of the season, first of the night for the Chippewas. And Devin, we talked heavily about it. The Chippewas have to capitalize on the power play if they want any chance tonight, and they did so with 1:21 left in Bigler's power play.
That original shot from Gibbs, the one that missed the left post, I think York got a piece of it, but Owen Campbell is the reason this play happens because he keeps it going at that half wall against 2 Bulldogs.
Pinning both of them against the boards.
Yeah, and then allows Martin to come back this way, try and get a shot off, put one in front, and it goes off the skate blade. So we presume that's going to be an assist to at least Chris Martin, but nonetheless, it's an important power play goal for Connor Morgan, and well-deserved. Of course, he wore the A this year for that reason, and a very, very important discretion. So 2-1, Central Michigan gets on the board, and Bigler is still in the box. Right? They must have called that an unsportsmanlike, which would negate that as a scoring penalty. So
CMU still on the power play, 4-on-5.
So Gilgren goes along, and to correct this, York had a tripping call. So that is what this penalty is for, not unsportsmanlike. I will correct that. Thank you, Reagan, our rules analyst. 5:12 to go in this first. Look out. Big slide in front of the net there for Ryan Bigler, trying to make something happen to that play out of nowhere.
Well, Woolery extended his entire body, a little bit of gymnastics there to block that one.
Bottles from one knee, tries to get it past the defense. Good job by Garrett Vanderlaan to put out the fire. Here comes Jace Johnson to the net, and a save made by York on that near post.
Devin, we've seen Jace Johnson all of the time with such speed down the ice, and he shows that again here with a little tech to get past his defenders.
A lot of speed, getting through the defenders, slicing. He lost handle of the puck. He's going to be frustrated with himself on that one. But that looked better than what it might have presumed because that's how he scored his first goal in the ACHA last year over Oakland. Remember, that was their biggest win of the season. At the time, that was a number 12 team. And because of the Central team, they didn't make nationals partly. So here's in the middle, a chance for Nathan Bottles. Check that Siraki, but nothing came of it. Good defensive stand that time by Adams, and he'll go off to the bench for a change.
Well, Bottles had a very good look there. Devin didn't get it to go as we've got 20 seconds left in the penalty that Bigler's going to be serving.
That's not Bigler, excuse me. Bigler was on the ice there, Parker. It's number 29 serving it, unlisted on our roster. So, nonetheless, play continues to the middle of the ice. Connor Morgan defensively poked away by Guillory. Negates that scoring chance. Woolery will just throw this off his edge. Give it back to Campbell, who almost coughed it up. Dominic Williams chasing him successfully. Central can't get off this side of the ice. They will now. Connor Morgan trying to whack it out of midair is Campbell. Now stealing it, Williams, and this guy had been fighting all game. Here's Siraki with a look. Has some open ice to work with. To the middle, in front, Nick Kuhn looking for his first as a Chippewa. That went off the left pad of York as it skated the blue paint.
Well, selfless play from Siraki there to send that one to the slot. Doesn't get it home, so we stay at 2-1 Bulldog lead.
Trevor Van Vliet now with a wrister way out from deep, and that went off the shin pad of Ryan Grolo out of play. 2:57 to go in this first period. 2-1. The most recent answer from Connor Morgan and Christopher Martin on the power play. It's Central's first of the year. They are 1 for 6 total. And that's a good reversal considering we talked about yesterday that 0 for 5 mark looked very ugly and part of the game's story. A reversal of that here. Here's now Nick Kuhn wearing number 20. Andrew Miller's numbers for now. Backhanded out in front. York can't find it. And I might have been blocked by Chris Armentrout's skate there, Parker, because he was parked out in front, and that one somehow deflected wide.
It was a very close opportunity for the Chippewas. They've got 2:30 left to finish this job.
Okay. So it's Rapoon. Over the blue line. Garrett Vanderlaan. Sorry for that pause. Nathan Bottles takes the shot on net. Score! One-on-one, low blocker, tie game. Nathan Bottles.
Well, Devin, he had plenty of room to send that one home. And Scott York, just nothing you can do in the one-on-one. In Bottles, just a veteran presence on this team, knows exactly where to go, exactly what to do, and he'll tie it up 2-2 with 2 minutes left to go back at center ice, and the Chippewas tied again against Ferris State, an old rival of theirs.
And impressive stuff from a former NCAA D3 player. That's the kind of spark that this Chippewa team noticed from him when he came here about 2 years ago. And Bottles is not going to be with this team, we presume, for, well, a long time, but he's finishing up his degree at Central, doing a great job deflecting puck. He almost got another redirected. Julian Johnson parked on the back door and nearly had that one slid through. Bulldogs trying to take advantage of that. Bigler the other way. Great defensive stand. Somehow got that through the middle anyway. Had Clements all over him. Julian Johnson now. Reclaims, spin this one around. Bishop, one touches it over. Bigler reclaims possession of this one. Slid across. Has time to work if he wants it. Bigler through the red line. Off this near blue line board. Gilgren. Too far for Julian Johnson, so he'll just make some changes there. On comes his brother, Julian, to Jace. So they're going to try and set up time. 52 in the period left. We got a tie game after Ferris State opened the scoring from Joey DiMiccio, and then Chase Adams answered by the power play goal on Connor Morgan's stick, and most recently that one-on-one chance for Nathan Bottles. Here's Chris Martin. Flooded in the air. Kicked along by Karn. Pushed deeper now. Johnson sidesteps a man. Taken back by Karn. Wants to use the boards. Gilgren from one knee couldn't keep it in. Race back for it. The saving defenseman, Chris Martin. 16 to go in the period. Jace Johnson cuts to the middle. Shot on net. Save by York. Right pad. Bumped out by DiMiccio. Or Adams. Swivels it around. Now he's got a man named Andrew Peel ready. Ferris State just trying to take some time off. Isaac Hopp with 9 seconds left, and Isaac Gibbs nearly headed off the post. That one, I think, hit the right iron, and Gibbs, as the time was expiring, almost gave the Chippewas a lead. Well, what an end to this period.
Devin, they are riding that last high of their goal. Getting it tied back up 2-2 was a momentum switcher for the Chippewas. As you saw, they're getting shots on shots on shots, absolutely peppering York after Bottles finished the goal. So we sit 2-2 at the intermission, Devin, and We got a lot to uncap in this intermission report.
A whole lot of resilience is what that is, Parker. Down 2-0 early in this game, and they fight back to give goals from Connor Morgan and Nathan Bottles a tie game as we enter the break. 2-2 as we hit 20 minutes left. We'll resume for the intermission report presented by cmitchicehockey.com.
Welcome back inside Martin Ice Arena here in Mount Pleasant, Michigan for what was a very action-packed first period and more coming your way in the second. But for the first time, let's recap what all happened in the first, and it started out all CMU for the first 5 minutes. Action-packed pressure in the O-zone, and then something clicked for Ferris State, and they got their first goal off the stick of Mitchell, and then secondly from Adams, and that brought them to a 2-0 lead within just a minute apart of themselves, and CMU struggled for another 10 minutes following up until Morgan, off the assist of Gibbs and Martin, got one home for the Chippewas and put them at a 2-1 deficit still. Gibbs pinned his two men up against the boards, passed over to Martin, top of the right circle, to the slot and off the skate of Morgan to bring that 2-1. And then shortly after was Bottles unassisted to tie it up 2-2 for the Chippewas, and that was a must-have, finishing their set 2-2 in the first period. And it's a very physical matchup, and we expect to see Ferris more of the same in the second. A little push and shove, one unsportsmanlike already handed out by the refs, so definitely a lot tighter of a game than yesterday over at Evelgleben, but their CMU fans were kind of chanting, let them play. Here, it's a lot stricter of a matchup. So we expect to see physicality, goals, and more in the action-packed second period, coming to you here on CCHN in Martin Ice Arena here in Mount Pleasant, Michigan.
Fireworks in the first 20 minutes of this contest. Started up by Ferris State. 2 goals in less than 3 minutes like they did yesterday in the early first. Those ones came from Joey DeMitchell and great chances on Chase Adams, but the Chippewas answer. Power play goals. Connor Morgan assisted by Christopher Martin, and then Nathan Bottles on a solo chance with Armentrout. So Parker, you gave some of your analysis in that first. A lot better special teams just off the hop, already a power play goal. And now Central has to keep this momentum riding if they want to get the momentum. And Isaac Gibbs nearly had a goal at the end of the first.
Well, Devin, we talked yesterday about the fact that we went 0 for 5 on the power play, and that's not a stat that you ever see from CMU in this game. And, you know, starting out 1 for 1 on the day is a perfect start for the Chippewas. That's exactly what they needed to ride that high, ride that momentum, and continue on to get a second goal off the stick of Bottles. A one-on-one with the goaltender, wide open net, and he finished it home. And we sit here, 20 minutes to go, 2-2, as all players head to center ice to get unready and unpacked for an action-packed second period.
And a lot to unpack from that, but you know, some notable things we talked about yesterday. We talked about Connor Morgan's goal. Well, he played his 50th goal in the ACHA yesterday in the season opener against Ferris State. Brandon Clements is 1 game from 50 in the ACHA, so expect that the next time we see them on the ice against Grand Valley State. But a fun first period. Let's keep it going. Second underway. Ferris State on the attack. Pushed in by Bishop. A duo of players on both sides fight over that puck. That's on the far side, Adams, one of those 2 goal scorers. Help coming from Andrew Peel, now taken away by Bottles. Try to lift it up on his glove. You don't want to cut the hand pass. Clements chips it along. Tries to keep the attack alive. Help coming with Bishop. Had the first goal of the season yesterday. Now sliced out by Peel. Can't get it out of the zone with help coming from Chase Adams. A long shift to start this second period for both of these sides. A lot of play in that far corner. Now some freed up space. Clements wants to put one. Broken up initially. Bottle second try. A glove flashing style is Scott York to finally give us a pause.
Well, CMU looking like a little bit of a power play there, Devin. A whole minute hemmed in the O-zone, and Bottles, the senior from Williamston, Michigan, almost had one home, and York's going to glove that one up and keep it 2-2.
Scott York, so much talk has been about his play, not just this game, but you know, yesterday the 52 saves is a impressive mark, but when you look on the deeper level of that, most of those came in that second period when Central early on had themselves a little bit of jump, a little bit of step, and in the first, he already established that presence, and that's good for a goaltender because a lot of times you got to get in a flow and you got to make sure that when you give up rebounds that you have sustained success and not give up more. He did that. Where on the other side, Caleb Woolery had a lot of one-on-ones he saved. So this is a goaltender matchup, and you were talking about that in the pregame show as one of your keys. A lot more to watch from this one. Both have conceded the same, but Ferris State now trying to change that scoreboard where it matters. Here's Van Vliet with the shot. That one hit the shoulder of Gilgren, and it's cleared out. Christopher Martin tried to stretch it ahead for Campbell. He'll get there first. A race for it as changing off the ice is Gilgren, replaced by the defenseman Lucas Hutton. Now Brendan Carnes skating through the middle, 1-on-2. Easily poke-checked by Hutton. Siraki gets to it, turned it over to Van Vliet for just a moment.
Well, Devin, those 2-on-1s are exactly what Thomas Rofe was talking about with us before the game started, is collecting that shooter instead of the passer.
1-on-1 chance. Adams looking for a second. Woolery once, and the second shot wouldn't come as Hutton was on the back trail. What a good stop by Woolery to start this period. Ryan Grolo off the red line, chased it in, and it's an icing call as the first man to race is DeMarty.
Now, Devin, something that CMU has got to continue to do is pressure the O-zone and put shots on net. They've done a pretty good job of it thus far, as we're going to head all the way down to Woolery's zone on the right circle over here.
Well, you know, that point about Hutton, I want to go back to that save we just saw, because even though Woolery made the initial stop, he had help coming back. And that was something that we saw not a lot of yesterday when the Bulldogs had second and third chance opportunities to stuff it. And that caused a lot of scrambling to go on for Woolery, where a lot of times the Bulldogs had a wide open net to shoot at.
There were a lot of free pucks there. And
great point.
And CMU was unable to put it home, but Ferris State was. Scott York coming far out of his crease on that one. Almost a dangerous opportunity in favor of the Chippewas.
Yeah, that was first there, Andrew Peel, and like you said, dangerous. Was trying to play it on this near side, and he's a goaltender that does like to come out. We saw him do that a lot yesterday and a little bit tonight. Hutton, a shot fluttered through a couple of bodies and ultimately saved on the right pad. Kick to the left side now. A battle ensues for it. You've got help coming over there with Hutton. In tight with it against Brendan Karn. Now it's freed up for just a moment. Gaffney absorbs a check from Grolo. There's Nick Kuhn starting in number 20, Andrew Miller's jersey, to keep it alive. And now some room to work. Andrew Peel will just look for a lane to chase away. Chris Armentrout is there. Touched over the red line. Kuhn, and an impressive play by this freshman there. And look out, big hit, Kyle Bowerson. Back-to-back nights, he levels a man at center. That's Ian Gaffney off in a change.
Devin Bowerson, such a physical player, and he shows it there, just absolutely laying the lumber center ice, and we expect to see him do it more than enough times.
2-on-1, Hop and Jace Johnson trying to free that up. They sandwiched each other. Andrew Peel with time to come with Van Vliet. Stays on side, drops it off to him, cuts to the middle of the ice. Shot on net under Woolery's pads, and he's going to swallow it. Near side. Van Vliet has done that kind of move a couple of times and almost scored. And that one is saved and stopped. But, you know, Van Vliet is, like we said, MCHC last year was kind of a second team all snub. We got a call coming up here. I thought there might be. Let's break that down a little bit. Oh, 5-on-5. But let's break down that play because Parker Van Vliet has done that move from left to right, cutting through a middle man a couple of times, and he's almost scored. And, you know, that's kind of forced Woolery to adapt and really know what that play is when it comes.
Devin, I think what his signature move last night was that toe drag, and he exemplified the little hockey fundamentals there as we've got a fast rush coming for CMU.
Johnson over the red line. He's going to spin around the blue circle. We'll take it up right wing. Gets deeper with it now. Solo effort from the sophomore. Absorbs, double checks. Finally leaves it for someone. Hop in the glove of York, and a stoppage again. And I think Jace wanted his teammates to give him a little bit of help down low. He was trying to spring that kind of play together.
I think actually what he was pointing there, Devin, was Clements wide open, top of the point there, ready for the one-timer. Hop took that for himself. I think Johnson was over there telling me, no, pass the puck to the top of the point, pass it to the open man, get the shot off.
It is still early, and that's something to note is that these lines look a lot different than they did last year with all of those Division II guys now graduating. You've got a new look at some lines that haven't played a whole lot of hockey together. Let's look out. The other way, here come the Bulldogs, and a shot deflected off Woolery, and that one was on the blind. Through the blue paint again. Twice the Bulldogs try to get it past Woolery. Reset now. Stopping, spinning around. Gilroy trying to free this play up again. Twice that puck skirted across the blue paint, almost over the line. I thought it might have gone off the head of Woolery and in.
Well, Devin, they're going to ice it there, but what happened was Woolery sprawled out. He's on his stomach, and he kicked his leg. The puck went flying over him. The Bulldogs at the point celebrated. They thought it was in,
yeah.
And then realized that it's still out of the net. It's behind the net, and play continued. They ice it, so we'll go all the way back to Woolery's left.
Take a gasp, Chippewa fans. They caught a break, so it stays 2-2. Now without a point blank, Adams denied by Woolery.
And that was directly to the mask of him.
And it's a race with Johnson over the red line. Spinorama. Jake Bishop, rather, comes in deep with it. Bottles, absorbs a check on this side. It's Adams, who's played a lot of ice time so far as we're 5 minutes gone in the second period. Here's Kuhn across the way for Hutton. Want to put one on net. Turn around by Bottles. Open net to shootout. Julian Johnson yorked out of the net, and so is his helmet. Face mask coming off there, so it's going to stop automatic play. But Julian Johnson hesitated for just a moment, and that allowed York to get reset and in position to make that stop.
Well, Tevin, I guess it was such a powerful shot that it hit the bottom of York's mask and sent it flying off. So they're going to check to see if he's okay, make sure that didn't hit him.
Yeah, obviously that's an automatic stoppage when that comes off, and they'll check his equipment because they have to make sure the straps on both sides come through. And we've seen this a couple of times last year. There was a game I think I remember was Oakland where a goalie's helmet, might have been his skate, had a malfunction and stopped play for a while. Yeah, I think it was his pads, but looks like he's okay. That official over there on the far side, we'll get his name at the break, but making sure he's all right. We continue. 14-12 to go in the second. Ferris State with a near blue line chance with a sharp angle bouncer off the mask of Woolery. Nearly went in, but Chippewas looking to answer. Siraki's shot on net, paddled wide. Up the far wing. Bowerson off his skate. Siraki shovels it deeper. In position to defend that was Cundiff, the alternate captain, up against Campbell, who's wearing his stout number 6 today. Put it in the middle. Too strong for Siraki. And now it's cleared out to center by Dominic Williams. Stretch pass intended for Siraki. Got through his legs. Gilreal absorbs the check. Turn around, Hutton this time. Central trying to get some cohesion going. One-time blast. Bowerson missed it wide. Hutton there to sink it. Siraki shoveled deeper by Morgan. Tried to backhand it. Bowerson, another point chance. Never got the release off as fast as he probably wanted. Hutton at the point keeps the play going. Siraki, a lot of zone time for the Chippewas. Puts another on net. York paddle save. Hutton, the cycle continues from outside to in. Siraki, Connor Morgan falls to his knees. Now he's back up. Hutton to help out a slashing Owen Campbell, and the Bulldogs get a harm's way. Will it reach the trapezoid? It will, so those lines can't change. And Ferris State, that's already been out here a minute and a half, has to stay in their own zone.
Well, Devin, we saw CMU ramp up the physicality pretty heavily there. I mean, there's a lot of big bodies out on the ice right now, most notably Siraki that just went off the line change. That man is 6'2", 205 pounds. That's a big body right there that you do not want hitting you up against the boards. And he had a few bone-crushing hits as we head back to Scott's right.
Yeah, Siraki has beefed up a lot the last 2 seasons. He's always posting about his time in the gym. And he's got the muscles to back it up, as you mentioned. Karn keeps it through. Clements prevented a near odd man rush there. Karn giving his team time to change. Broken up by Isaac Gibbs. Headed for Clements. Give and go. He's got Hop down the middle. Centered it up for him! And Hop nearly caught the net. York was there ready. And that's a marvelous stop for the netminder.
Devin, that was such a good opportunity. Gibbs and Clements with a little back and forth there. Gibbs is going to throw that to the left, chip it over his defender, run around the left side. Almost had a quick one on York, didn't get it to go, so he is going to head back to the faceoff to the right of York, and it's going to go flying over the blue line. Clements looks to collect.
Yeah, and as much as we know Isaac Gibbs for his goal-scoring ability, we talked about already nearing Brendan Nelson in all-time points for the Chippewas. We got a stoppage, an injured Chippewa in their own zone. It's Brandon Clements. Absorbed a hit on the near boards, and they're going to call for a trainer.
Now, Devin, my eyes were off the zone over there. I'm not exactly sure what happened. It looked like just a bone-crushing hit against the boards.
Yeah, mine as well, but Brandon Clements gathering himself. Looks like got the wind knocked out of him, but we won't presume much. We'll just sit and wait. You're watching Central Michigan and Ferris State on CCHN. Clements to his feet with the help of his staff. Scary moment, was down for a couple of moments in this near corner. Middle part of the second period. Devin Serra alongside Parker Morrison, 2-2. As Brendan Clements, junior defenseman, will head off to the bench. Good to see him get back to his feet for a moment there. You wondered if maybe he got the wind knocked out of him for a little bit, and he's going to sit and relax for a bit. But good to see that. Not develop too much further. And Parker talking a little more about the current events. You see both teams now getting their looks, and we talked about the Ferris State near miss across the blue paint. Isaac Gibbs and Isaac Hop nearly pair each other up for a goal. And really leading to some sort of cohesion now. Both teams finding their systems. I think that's more important for Central Michigan because they really didn't find too much of their game yesterday to develop an identity.
Devin, I think something that's going to light a fire under CMU was during our break there, Ferris State chipping and chirping at the bench of CMU after that Clements hit, and CMU is going to look to play with that fire underneath them.
Yeah, and we saw yesterday a lot of that after the whistle. Score! Chase Johnson!
Well, Devin, I guess I spoke that one into existence there. The fire lit underneath the Chippewas really gives name to the Fire Up motto here at CMU.
Chase Johnson, the sophomore. A massive goal. Brother of Julian Johnson, a wicked shot from the right side, and that one just beats York cleanly, and Johnson has been looking to do something like that the last 2 games. You know, the end of the year last year, he had a really strong come on, a couple of assists. Oakland, he scored his first goal in the ACHA, had a highlight reel against Northwood, and that one you can put on the highlight reel as well. He gives the Chippewas their first lead of the game, and the first lead since early in the first period yesterday. Chippewas gathering themselves now out of their zone and trying to keep the attack on. Whistle is called as that's swallowed by Woolery.
Little talk in front of the net as per usual with these teams as Gilgren swoops in to make sure that his goaltender isn't getting hit whatsoever, and CMU going to make a big line change here. Ferris State keeps their men on the ice. Fresh bodies to the left of Woolery.
Yeah, and just briefly, once again, for a moment, where you're talking about Jace Johnson from Brownstown. You know, not too much really action last at the end of the year. 12 goals, 2 goals, but the 6 assists were really a standout mark, and he had the most points in the MHSAA 2 seasons ago, and that was much of the hype and a lot of the build around him is what does his development look like. I had the chance to talk to him before the game, as here's Ferris State bearing down on Woolery. Brendan Carr nearly had a backhand tip into the 5-hole, covered up by Woolery well. Bottles, we'll talk about in a moment, keeps it on. Julian Johnson offside. And speaking of Johnsons from Brownstown, you know, MHS Player of the Year, what would his development look like? He said in the offseason, him and Lucas Hutton played in the Michigan Elite Hockey Summer League, did a lot more of their offensive side of the game, considering that most of that league is goal scoring, considering, from my experience at least, covering that league 2 years ago. But he said that he got a lot stronger, a lot faster, and just learned so much more about himself as a player during that time because he played against guys that are in the USHL, that play high level of high school hockey like he did. And when it's what is it? Iron sharpens iron. You get better for the most part.
Well, Devin, you can see that speed. Both of the Johnson brothers have probably the most amount of speed on this team that we can see. And
yeah, and Julian's had a lot of playing time this series as well, and he's done a solid job as well. So 3-2 thanks to Jace Johnson. As we near the middle part of the frame, 10:25 to go in this second. Devin Sarah and Parker Morrison with you from Martin Ice Arena, the Marty. Season opener, or home opener rather. Central has won their last 5 on this barn, dating back to the second semester. So here's Van Vliet, solo out in front, crunches on net. Woolery stopped on the goal line, helmets off, bodies flying everywhere. Where's that puck? A crushing from behind, and here we go. Julian Johnson pushed a player over. A dog pile on top. Connor Morgan is there. Van Vliet on his knees, Woolery pulling a guy off. That all developed after the chippy play. Van Vliet was a solo man.
Well, Devin.
Whistle was called, and they were still whacking away, and then Julian Johnson flew in from behind, and there's still 2 players on the top of each other over there.
Well, Devin, what happened over there was Woolery went to go get a glove, and a stick went up, smacked his helmet, it looks like. CMU came in to defend your goalie as one does. Ferris State actually cross-checked first. CMU then came in, cross-checked from behind, and that started the bout.
So that's going to cause a lot of sorting out to do for what was nearly a mini brawl there.
What might
We've
be
got
a few
four officials
coincidentals
here.
then.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of different vantage points from 4 officials here. There's going to be something coming up here to definitely Julian Johnson. The man down on the ice on the dog pile was Andrew Peel, and he's still upset because I don't know if Lucas Hutton got involved with him and decided to wrap him up. Brandon Clements, as you're pointing to, is back on the ice. Good to see there, but a lot to sort out here. Let's see how these linesmen come in here and talk. Officials, as you can see them in those orange bands, will gather the captains. Over there is Brendan Karn, Owen Campbell, Christopher Martin. Conversation with Chase Adams. So Adams to the box. Solo CMU man in there for now is picking out the numbers. Sorry, our photographer, social media man, Joe, is in the way. Parker, I see a 9 in there. Is that?
That's exactly what I was thinking. It might be.
That would be Maddox Grimes.
Yes, it would be, as he's wearing Rapoon's number today.
So from what we can tell, Maddox Grimes, Chase Adams in the box. Still conversation going. And I wonder if they did see the cross-checks on both sides, because that would cause both those players to go off as well.
Now, definitely good to see Clements back out on the ice, skating back and forth, getting back into the swing of things. Good to see it wasn't more serious than what it seemed to be.
I mentioned earlier he was down on the ice for a number of seconds. Looked like he got his bell rung. So now here's how this settles out. They've got 2 players on both sides in the box. You've got Lucas Hutton, Maddox Grimes, and then was in the box and now is skating out of it is Andrew Peel for the Bulldogs. And are they gonna give him a game here? They might. I think they will.
Yep, they're gonna send him off.
So Andrew Peel is gone. And Peel's smiling like he is facetious about what this
Well, Devin,
game
we were
misconduct
literally
would
just
be.
talking about this with Owen Campbell previously before the game started. Is, you know, stuff that was flying over at Ava Glaben was not going to fly here, and things that are not DQs there are definitely going to be DQs here. The refs are much more strict, and we saw that just then.
Well, that matters because that means sometimes when you have a game misconduct like that, you're sent off. It usually results in a 1-game suspension. Not always, but more times than not, that is the case. But for Ferris State, you'll have to look at that. Peel is a big part of that core group on the defensive side, so they don't play for a couple of weeks, but when they do, they might need him. Okay, so now that's sorted out. 10:01 to go on the clock. They've got 2 minutes on the board for CMU, or rather, I'm sorry, Ferris, number 22. That's Ryan Bigler.
So with him up in the board, Bigler is going to stay in the box. Was definitely
We'll have to see if they give a penalty. We'll have to see if they make this 4-on-4, though, because you got to assume a brawl dog pile like that, somebody's going to get it on the CMU side.
Well, Devin, what I presume is going to happen here is a couple coincidentals for both sides, and then that game misconduct.
Right, of course. Yeah, the game misconduct makes it its own thing, but what happens from here? Because now you're looking at maybe a 5-on or a 4-on-3 situation, maybe even a 5-on-3, 5-on-4 power play. So we'll wait to see on that.
Well, it's giving both teams a little bit of a rest here. Definitely gives them time to recharge, re-energize, and get ready for whatever play this might ensue as.
Yeah, and this won't cause a lot of conversation on the benches. It's more of just, like you said, a breather, catch yourself a little bit, and start thinking about plays and such. Both these rosters are pretty evenly sized in comparison. Ferris State added 8 new players this season, or over the offseason, I should say. Central 4, the likes of Maddox Grimes, Nick Kuhn. You also get Isaac Gibbs back to the lineup, and then the backup netminder is Isaac Gleisner. Now, he's a transfer senior to this Chippewa team, and kind of an interesting story. Spent some time around the ACHA with Division I teams in Eastern Michigan. Also played for Finlandia's ACHA team for 2 seasons. Native of Saginaw, Michigan. And so, where's all those black pads on the bench? It's pretty notable to see that, considering they departed Sam Zavelson last year, one of their starting netminders from the Division II team. We've still got this penalty being sorted out, folks. Chris Martin, Owen Campbell, and Brendan Karn, a trio of captains at center ice, talking to both officials. And right now it says on the box, Ryan Bigler for 2 minutes. Game misconduct assessed to Andrew Peel. He's gone for the rest of this contest. Man in the box for CMU serving it is Maddox Grimes. No other Chippewa has been sent in there except Lucas Hutton.
Well, Devin, there is a lot to unpack.
Yeah, and there's still and there's still a long conversation about this. Now,
Devin,
again, you can't really assume anything, of course. We can't hear what's going on in those conversations, but probably along the lines, and there I go, right? Just going on my lad here about maybe they're assessing, here's what we expect from you the rest of the game, here's what would throw a guy out, here's what wouldn't, etc.
Well, that misconduct was not only a harsh factor in terms of the Bulldogs, but it was also just kind of a note to the rest of the players like, hey, you try that again, you're getting sent out. And
exactly.
The refs are going to be a lot more strict from here on out, it looks to be.
So still on the board is 2 minutes for Ryan Bigler. Now serving the penalty for CMU in the scrum is Maddox Grimes.
Looks to be a 4-on-4 here, Devin.
4 Bulldogs, 4 Chippewas.
Possibly 5.
But still out on the ice, and at our ground level, you might not see it on our cameras. So Brendan Martin is talking to a head official over the bench. Owen Campbell, captain, is also listening. And that will conclude the long conversation. So now you've got 4 Bulldogs, 5 Chippewas. This is a CMU power play. So here we go. 1 for 1 of the Chippewas. Bigler stays in the box out of all of that with Andrew Peel gone on the misconduct. Christopher Martin, the captain, sidesteps it ahead for his alternate, or I should say similar captain, Owen Campbell. Siraki, the junior, stops on a dime, waits for Martin to catch up to him. They go to work on the engine run. Turning around, wants to get it deeper for Campbell, send it in front, tried to for Connor Morgan. Great defensive stand, getting to that puck was Colton Cundiff. Now Martin with a shot from the point. York's going to paddle it. He couldn't scoop it under. Still loose in the paint, and now will stuff the glove on it. What looked like a routine paddle shovel in, lost it for a moment, and that caused a lot more in front. Okay, conversations had, nothing comes of it.
Well, Devin, Joey DeMitchell there was actually sitting in net for the Ferris State Bulldogs behind the body of York in there. So we're going to head back to a face-off to the right of York on the circle.
1:20 to go, still in the power play for Ryan Bigler's penalty. Chris Martin from the point had it blocked off the stick of Karn, the other captain for the Bulldogs. Jack Gilry is in there tight to the near side. Siraki frees it up, gives it back to the point man Martin across the way. Gibbs had it to the middle, nearly broken up by Cundiff. Campbell for Siraki. Back in tight. Campbell skies it over the net and into the protective area, but that will stop play. 52 to go in the power play.
Well, Campbell had a pretty good look there, just skied it a little high, and that'll go out of play. We got 52 seconds left in this power play for CMU. Devin, this was one of our keys to the game, is finishing on the power play. They're 1 for 1 so far. We'll see if they can make it 2 for 2.
They've had a good success in this cycle. No real dangerous chance yet, albeit York's near mishandled that puck. Jace Johnson, one of the 3 goal scorers today, along with Connor Morgan and Bottles. Johnson fakes the pass. What a move. Looks to go across the way. Missed the pass. Too strong for Gilgren. And now a break. 2-on-1 for the Bulldogs the other way. Quickly on the left side, Adams takes the shot. Skied it over the net. Off the stanchion glass, allows an even break for the Chippewas. Bottles wants to center it for Hop. He'll wait. Skates wide around the net. Puts it in the middle. A chance for Gilgren through the backhand. Hop wasn't ready for it. Never got a shot off. 15 to go in the period or the power play, and it's sent down the length of the ice by Gaffney out of harm's way. So Central, you get a sequence right there where you almost give up an odd man rush, miss the shot, and allows for an opportunity the other way. Penalty is over. Out of the box, Bigler. Jace Johnson has it. Skates wide quickly. Absorbs a check from Van Vliet. Taken to the near boards. End board by Hop. Gives and go for Johnson up to the point. Hutton wants to keep it going lower. Hop once again missed the puck. Hopped over his stick. Not like a bunny rabbit. Chris Armentrout. Turn around, Hop. And that shot sent away by York. Gaffney there. And he's going to chop it away. Give his team time to breathe. Central is taking the play right now. 1 for 2 on their power plays.
No, Devin, we haven't seen a solid check come out in a minute here, and I think it's because the players are just a little too scared. They're going to get the ref's hand up in the air.
We got a whistle right here as It's an icing. And, and you talk about that, right? Officials kind of just letting them keep going some more. What I mean by that is having less stoppage, more play. Say, hey, guys, we're not going to take these after whistle moves, and both teams have kind of agreed to that so far and made it more interesting. 7:17 now is the time left on the clock. 3-2 CMU. Goal scorers Bottles, Connor Morgan, Jace Johnson, the most recent one. Face-off won by the Chippewas' Ryan Grolo in his second year. The other second-man year is Lucas Hutton. He forwards it along for a first-year player in Nick Kuhn. Gave the puck away looking for Armentrout. Up the left side, the point man. They go D-to-D is Garrett Vanderlaan. Through the middle of the ice now, given back to the Chippewas. D-to-D Camara with his partner Hutton. Gives it for Armentrout, who touches it at the red line to keep it going. Now here's Nick Kuhn, instead Maddox Grimes. Pardon me if I get those numbers mixed up, as Maddox Grimes is wearing number 9 for Will Rapoon. Kuhn is wearing number 20 for Andrew Miller. The Bulldogs, captain Karn, gets it out of harm's way. He's going to retreat. He needs time to change, as off goes a Bulldog and Dominic Williams, replaced by Chase Adams. Up this near side, the Bulldogs stretch the play out. Sticked away by Kyle Bowerson. Haven't said his name too much tonight, albeit he's had 2 massive hits in this series. D-to-D once more. Hutton forwarded for Siraki. Sidestepped his man Cundiff. And now Connor Morgan. York out of the net to play it from behind. Changes it once again. Bowerson steps into this. Glove saved by York, in and out of his pads. And it's sent along the way by Cundiff, out of harm's way for now. Forwarded, Campbell, one touch is through the zone. Hutton's going to race back. He needs a change and a tired body. On comes a freshman in Maddox Grimes. Siraki regains it, has space if he needs it, and that swallowed up quick. Defensively, great play made by Brendan Karn with help coming from Gerli. A shot from the top of the crease area. Shot saved the second time off the pads of Woolery. Sidesteps a man. They'll go hard to the net. 3 saves, 4 on the goal line. It's still up for grabs. And now finally it's cleared out from behind the net. The Chippewas look very tired. They need some bodies off. Connor Morgan's going to be the lone man, and they'll get that change they desperately need. Morgan all alone, and a stick flies in the air. The Bulldog that lost at Gilry. And all of a sudden, now Ferris State has an entire minute on this shift time for this group. Van Vliet is out there as the freshest body, trying to speed away from this defense. Offside, Connor Morgan, rather Bishop, was too far with Campbell, and he gets a hit from behind from Van Vliet.
And Devin, that is something, especially after a game misconduct, you just simply can't do. The refs are definitely going to give him some time for that.
And Van Vliet is going to go to the box for a cross-check on Owen Campbell.
Well, Devin, I also just spoke with our rules analyst, Reagan Cleaves, today. And Chase Adams, in that little kerfuffle in front of the net earlier that resulted in a game misconduct, entered the ice off the bench to join in that little area, and that should have been a game misconduct, again, according to Rule 74.1. I love that he knows it.
These section articles have it all. Did you write that down?
He did, yes.
Oh, you got it in front of you. Wow, look at our accuracy. Name a broadcast team that's doing that.
Exactly, yep.
Nobody else is looking up Article 74.1, section whatever it is, to find some rule. But you are probably right.
I barely do that for classes.
The internet has a lot of free resources. All right, here we go. Third power play. Central's 1 for 2. Camara wanted the redirect from Bottles. The second try. York out of the net. Puck's loose. Whistle hasn't came yet. Bottles trying to fish it out. He will. Gilgren steps into it. York's without a stick. He has to sprawl out. They score! No, they didn't. The official calls it off. Bottles can't believe it. Bottles thought he had it on the tucked right post, and they call this off.
Devin,
no goal.
They're calling something on number 44 there. That's going to be
interference.
Yeah.
That was chaotic.
Well, Devin, again, York's stick flies into Narnia as it did yesterday. And, well, Bottles thought he had it on the wraparound. Officials call it off and put CMU on the penalty kill.
Well, it'll be 4-on-4 for the next minute.
Oh, you know, you're right. There's a minute 39 left.
But what all that starts from is a shot on the right side where you think York's got it and it's sitting in front of his right pad on the ground, and the official sees that, so he doesn't call the whistle. Nathan Bottles tries to dig in there, find that puck out. He does, and that's where York loses his stick with all of that traffic in front of him. You get a second shot on the right side again, and that's where Bottles tries to tuck it. They call the interference on Hop, so it causes a 4-on-4. Tough look if you're a Chippewa fan, but a break for Ferris State. We get that for another minute and 39, and it's immediately cleared out by Clements, hit the upper stanchion, so it's going to come right back.
Well, Devin, it looks like, according to Reagan Cleaves, our rules analyst, yet again, looking at the replay there, York's stick was actually cleared off by a Bulldog. Refs thought it was
right,
Hop.
That's what I mean. All of that defensive play in front caused that, and you get now what is, are you saying this penalty shouldn't have come? We can't hear you, Reagan, but Parker's got to be our interpreter here. If we had a third mic, we'd give him one. Don't worry, but hey, it means you're feeling better, right? Cleveland will be back with you guys in 2 weeks when they take on Grand Valley State. Don't worry. I'll finally get out of your hairs. Here's Isaac Hop for Jace Johnson. Oh, he is on the mic. Hello, Reagan Cleaves.
Hey, Devin. So for an explanation on that, it looks like the stick of York was loose at the top of the crease, and it was cleared by a Ferris State Bulldog, but the referee from the angle that at which he was looking at the play thought Hop cleared it, and if it was Hop, that would have been goaltender interference. So he thinks he made the right call, but at least from our angle, it looks like the Ferris State Bulldog was the one that cleared the stick, and it should not have been a minor penalty on Isaac Hop.
And that leads to this 4-on-4 where Central is trying to keep the momentum going at least. They would have had themselves an all you can really buffet on that 2 minute because they have been controlling the play. It's been their period for sure. But now you got to keep going with 3:37 to go. They'll have another 39 seconds until Trevor Van Vliet's out of the box. You give him roughly 23 seconds of power play time. The shot stepped into by Maddox Grimes is easily seen by York, and he's going to stop it. And York's down on one knee. You got to think he's probably feeling pretty fatigued after all of that chaos he had in front of him.
Own zone and his forwards kind of peppering Woolery, but today it's been a lot more evened out as Ferris and CMU probably somewhere around the same in the shot departments now.
Yeah, we'll get those at the break, those shot totals, but 30 seconds left in the 4-on-4. This puck first touched up to Kyle Bowerson. The man streaking in is Adams for it. Good job to work that puck over. He's got down the right wing, help coming with Gaffney. Sidesteps Grimes, the freshman, trying to defend his end board. Bowerson pushes this one along up the board side. Jack Gilroy in there to take away the legs of Bowerson. Help coming there with Campbell. Turned it over immediately. A chance in middle. Shot off the backside of Bowerson and cleared out of the slot by Campbell. And a 2-on-1 develops. He's got Connor Morgan down the right side. Campbell steps in and he roofs this puck over. Might have deflected off the blade of Gaffney and out.
Well, Campbell, a nifty little move to get around his defender, drops it far side for him, and that'll go off the stick of a Bulldog. We're going to get reset here as CMU goes on the penalty kill for 17 seconds.
Yeah, so here you go. Basically, what has to happen is Ferris has to win this faceoff and get it down the ice. That really would be the only power play chance they have. They're 0 for 1 on the day. The only power play chance they had was from a holding call earlier on Julian Johnson in the first. So 2:47 in the period, 13 seconds left. Not much they can probably do with this now as it's Chase Adams getting chased by Jake Bishop and lost his stick for a moment. He'll put it through the middle of the ice. Gaffney couldn't handle it. Now we'll give it to the captain, Karn. There goes Hop out of the box, 0 for 2. We'll call technically Ferris State on their power play. Chippewas are 1 for 3. Sky through the middle. Camara intended for Bishop. A race ensues. Catches up to Gilroy. Now Bottles is there. Help coming from Bishop. Puts one on net. York sidestepped it to the end board. Man coming behind is Karn. Now Bishop sides the puck to the point. Now Camara puts one. Traffic deflected it wide. Hutton gets crunched by Gaffney on this side. Gilroy steps into him there. Julian Johnson on the ice. Now Karn lifts it ahead for his man Adams. Goes cross ice this way for Gilroy. Bulldogs just want some space so they can get some sort of line change. Central's hounding them. Bishop is the man over the red line. Dumps it in. Look for him to go off. He will. To the end boards. Mishandled for a moment by DeMitchell. Turned it over to Jace Johnson. Rather Julian, his brother. At the point, Camara looks for a lane, takes it, blocked on the backside of Mitchell. And Ferris State gets out of the zone. We got a whistle ensues and a penalty coming up.
Devin, that was Sam Camara and number 21 for the Bulldogs, Brennan Karn. So
we got a holding call, and it's going to be on Sam Camara.
Chippewas back on the penalty kill for another 2 minutes. They've done good thus far. That's going to be an interference, actually, I believe.
Thank you. It's going to say the correction is interference on Sam Camara. So 0 for 2 of the Bulldogs. We talked a lot yesterday about this power play for Ferris State that went 2 for 2, both by Ryan Bigler. But this game, they haven't had a lot of opportunities. Now, all of a sudden, Central, it's been a chaotic second sequence with 1:25 left, has to kill this off. Rather, they're going to attack. Here's Isaac Hopp. He's going to have a one-on-one lane, sharp angle, miss the net behind. Gibbs catches up to the point, wants to push it deeper, force Ferris State in. DeMitchell stepped into by Hopp. He breaks that play up. Look at this guy playing like a junkyard dog, for lack of better words. Maybe those were the right words. DeMitchell up the near glass stanchion. Martin couldn't handle the puck, so Woolery comes out to rim this side of the boards. The clear attempt, no good for Gibbs. Cross ice lane for Van Vliet. Drops it back up to Bigler with 2 goals yesterday. Once again, Van Vliet waits for this patiently. 45 to go in the period. Shot on net, saved by Woolery. Bigler circles his men. Point side for Cundiff. Give and go back. Cundiff wants the shot, gives it off to Van Vliet. His own man blocked it in front. Second try, Woolery got there. A third try, scores! Bigler's third goal of this weekend, his third power play goal, ties this one at the end of the period.
It's a rough one for the Chippewas to take, as they were killing it off pretty well thus far. And you know, they were down a man for a couple seconds there as Ferris State claps one at their own man, and it hits his wrist right where the glove doesn't protect it. So he hobbled off. It was 4-on-4 for a few seconds there, and that's when they capitalized. So for 28.3 seconds left to go in this period, we are back to a 5-on-5.
And there was a Chippewa body in front of the net where Woolery was trying to see that puck. He probably didn't even see it go in initially, but a wicked shot by Bigler, his third of this weekend series, third power play goal for what has been a stout forward for them, to say the least. They even this game up, 7 seconds left in the period. One last look for CMU. Turnaround shot, bouncer, it's on the paint! Is it in? Owen Campbell, with York sprawling out, made the stop somehow. And I don't even know if Camara or Campbell can understand how that stayed out. That was incredible.
1 second exactly left on the clock, and Devin, I thought it was in for a second. York was completely spread out, belly on ice, and I thought that slid past him.
This has been one heck of a series for the sophomore goaltender, who gained only his second win. A shot from the point. Is it in? The clock expired before that puck reached over the goal line on the point shot attempt. So this one stays even at 3. Holy smokes. Every second matters in this one. And it's shown by Scott York with a miraculous stop on his own goal line. Before that, it's Ryan Bigler. His third power play goal of this weekend series ties it up. We hit the break, all knotted at 3. We'll talk about it more on the intermission report coming up next here on CCHN. You're watching the season opening weekend home opener for Central Michigan. 3-3 is the score after 40 minutes. Devin Sayre with you for the intermission report presented by SeaMitchIceHockey.com, your one-stop shop for highlights, exclusive interviews, and full game broadcast of men's Division III, men's D2, new edition this year, and women's Division II hockey. Just go to YouTube and search CMU Club Hockey to find the channel, and go to the live tab to find all of our live broadcasts each and every single weekend of ACHA hockey. All right, guys, a tight game in this one after Ferris State gets within one thanks to the power play efforts of Ryan Bigler, his third power play goal of this weekend series, and an important one considering that halfway through the period, Central and Ferris State got into an all-out brawl involving number 11 Andrew Peel, who is sent off the ice for a game misconduct that could mean that he misses not just the rest of this game, but the following game for Ferris State in about 3 weeks or so. So updates for Ferris State fans on that end. Central Michigan only suffered a 5-minute penalty for Lucas Hutton. Maddox Grimes would serve it as well. But at the end of the day, they get a chance in front where you get a streaking Jace Johnson with his first goal of the season. The talented sophomore just put a goal one-on-one under the low blocker. It was a wicked shot, and he gives the Chippewas what was their first lead of this series since the early first in yesterday's game, but now it's even up thanks to Ryan Bigler. Central is 1 for 3 on their power play chances today. Ferris State is also at that mark as well. So you get identical looks, a better power play for CMU that's put a lot more pressure on Scott York, quality pressure than they did yesterday, and Caleb Woolery has had a couple of times to save rebound chances, make some initial stops. Ferris State has a really talented top line with the likes of Trevor Van Vliet, who, with some controversy, may or may not have caused a little bit more in that brawl and not resulted anything of it. And meanwhile, a penalty in the middle of that period for Isaac Hopp, where he was called for interference, knocking away the stick of Scott York. Our rules analyst, according to Reagan Cleves, said, well, that might have been a Ferris State player that actually knocked away his stick. So just food for thought on what could change the balance of this game back and forth. And then the only update the rest of that period was Owen Campbell nearly scoring with 1 second left as Scott York sprawled out on the goal line to make a final stop and a final shot from the point that did not go in before the buzzer. As Reagan Cleves is making dances in front of me. Good to see you again, my friend, who I'm hitting for, and you feel a lot better. So I have a feeling you'll be back with these folks in 3 weeks' time. If you're already sick of me, good. You won't have to see me much longer. All right, facetious aside, a couple of games to look out for this week. U of M Flint is taking on Kent State this week. You can find that on the U of M Flint YouTube channel. Just search U of M Flint Club Hockey to find that video. And next week begins the real slate of MCHC play, as a couple of MCHC foes will be in action, the likes of Michigan, some big early games to look out for. Head to achahockey.org and go to the Men's Division III tab on your schedule to find those games. For Central Michigan, they're looking at right now a tied game where they have the momentum. Ferris State won the first period. They won the second period. It's coming down to the wire in what is an old-time hockey rivalry today. We see brawls, we see action, a lot of atmosphere in this one. We're going to have it with you the whole way. Final 20 is coming up here between Ferris State and Central Michigan in their home opener. We'll be back in 5 minutes on CCHN. Home opener for Central Michigan, and you couldn't ask for much more. Tied at 3 apiece on both sides. Ferris State answers the late power play goal from Ryan Bigler, who's had himself one a heck of a weekend, to say the least. Parker Morrison adds us into the conversation. Now, a lot of talk in that second about should there be a penalty for this, should there be a penalty for that. Well, at the end of the day, you got two teams that don't like each other very much, and what's been a heated back and forth series. You got to think Central needs this a lot more than Ferris, considering that they got to find their identity, and that's a rough, toughened team where their forecheck is starting to find what they want.
Well, Devin, not only is this a must-win for just the stat sheet, it's a must-win for their morale. You know, Devin, they're coming up against one of the toughest opponents they'll go against this year in a couple weekends in Grand Valley, and that's going to be a tough one to beat, especially with them being the runner-up for the national championship last year.
And not to mention losing like they did last year to those Lakers in kind of dominating fashion.
Well, you also did mention just the rough aspect of this game, and, you know, should that have been a goal, should it have not been a goal? From the ref's angle, it did look like Hop hit it out of his hand. From our angle, we have the above-ground eagle eye, so obviously we were able to see that it should not have been a call, but, you know, we can't fault the refs on that one whatsoever.
No doubt, and they have done, we'll say this, a heck of a job with what they're given, considering that there's been a lot of odd sequences that they've had to sort out, and for the most part, they've made the right decisions. It's not easy to judge in this league, especially the MCHC being the toughest. Here we go, final 20 in this home opener. Julian Johnson to dig in against Brendan Karn, and that draw is taken out into the attacking zone by CMU. Isaac Hop from one knee. He's had himself a heck of a weekend. Rather, Jake Bishop has had one heck of a weekend. Scoring the opening goal of the season yesterday, that would be the only lead the Chippewas held until late in that second when it was Jace Johnson to give them the opening tally. And then, you know, you talk about a Ferris State team that has been resilient, especially with what happened to them last year. Now, they went through a long losing period in the middle part of last year. They were getting dominated, playing some really tough teams out west with Hope College, Michigan State. Had to play Grand Valley a number of times too, but then one of those they got, the upset 1-0 on their home barn on senior night. You know, that gave them kind of some momentum to ride this year, as that's put into the netting by Camara. And for head coach Nolan Smith in this group, his second year, you know, talking to him in the pregame, a lot of the conversation wasn't even just about your style of play or how are you going to beat this team. It was about what do you do behind the scenes to keep a sustained program like this, because just like Central, Ferris has to deal with all the administrative parts, scheduling, right, recruiting, what is our budget. And, you know, he said a lot of that came about because, quite honestly, he was doing a beer league game 2 years ago with his assistant coach in Lance Jose, and they said, do you guys, there was a head coach opening that Ferris State posted, and they said, do we want to go do this? And they said, why not? They showed up on day one last year and started building some momentum to what is a sustainable team with some good leadership. And, you know, I asked them, do you leave the playing style up to the players to decide? And he said, well, it's led by our captaincies and our leaders, Brendan Karn, Trevor Van Vliet, among a few of them, because those guys are the longest tenured Bulldogs that have built and sustained what is now a consistent MCHC program that, well, has stuck around and played some competitive hockey. So with 18:30 left in this third period, this puck's up into the netting by Josh Gilgren. Keep play going, and you'd have to expect both teams are going to try and batten down the hatches because of what has happened. You've gotten all of the nervousness out of the way, all of the bugs, right? Maybe you figured out your systems, and yeah, it's still early in the season, first weekend, so there's still kinks to work out, but for the most part, this is about put up or shut up for both of these teams. So Gilgren over the red line. Gave it back to the Bulldogs on their wing side. It's Vanderland. Headed it for Van Vliet, one of those talented forwards we talk about. He's played some of the longest tenured hockey in Bulldog history. Shot on net by Vanderland. Sidestepped an open lane to shoot at and got it back. Wasn't ready. Check that was DeMitchell, number 13, Joey DeMitchell. Now Martin, a pass too strong for Andrew Siraki. He's got room to work. Connor Morgan up that right wing. Takes it on net, and it's deflected wide. Off the stick by Nick DeMarty. Connor Morgan to race it. DeMarty catches up to it. The backside of Bowerson stopped that puck for just a moment, and then it was taken out by Ryan Bigler. A goal today. Van Vliet is offside, and that'll stop play.
Well, Devin, you can see that the gas underneath both teams is already running out. They're not playing nearly as physical. They're not playing nearly as aggressive. And that may be in part due to a locker room conversation in both teams from both coaches saying, hey, we took a lot of penalties that period. We even got a game misconduct. We've got to calm down.
And that was a one-sentence way of just recapping what I said for 2 minutes. And that's not a degrading. That's a thank you, Parker. I'm telling you, man, there's a little bit of rust, and that rust is you just go on and on and on and say, well, they just got to calm down. I respect that. Bowerson to the right side for, almost said Rappoon. That was Maddox Grimes. That caught a funky bounce off of York's pads. Now Ian Gaffney the other way. To the middle of the ice. Glove saved by Woolery. Calmed things down again.
Both goalies just then had pretty great saves to keep their teams deadlocked at 3. York with the little right pad save sends that one to the corner, and then Woolery with the glove to slow play down, and we'll head to the circle face-off to the right of Woolery. And a quick one from Ferris.
Jace Johnson. Help coming from Gibbs. They want to spread out their forecheck. Flutter into the air. Hop. Had it missed along for Adams. Give it to Gaffney, who button hooks around Gibbs. Gaffney puts it on net. Woolery wants no sort of odd play, so he's going to stop it.
Smart option from Woolery there. They saw Johnson point at the man in the corner for Ferris State just to let Woolery know that somebody's coming on the right side. So a smart play by them. We're going to head back to the right circle where CMU wins that one.
Turnaround shot by Bigler, looking for his second of this game. Paddled away by Woolery. Up to the point man. Across is DeMarty, too strong. And out to retreat is Vanderland. Give it back to the Chippewas now. They want to go D to D. Camara put his end board for Hutton. Reverses field. It's Hop against DeMitchell on this side. Giving it to Van Vliet in the air. And another glove down by Woolery. And you do get that sense just immediately what you said about the calmness. There's not too many exciting developments happening in this play. They're kind of just giving it up, going, resetting. If they need to have a stop and a whistle, they're causing that. Now, who does that advantage more?
Well, it doesn't advantage either team there, actually. And Johnson heading out of the rink real quick.
Chase Johnson, yeah. Must have some sort of an equipment issue. He looks fine physically.
No stoppage in play from the refs, and you're right, he does look fine physically, so he must need either a new stick.
Van Vliet to the middle. Woolery had that off edge. It never got to him. Bottles was the man in front to give him some help defensively. D to D. Bulldogs trying to reset. Jake Bishop hounds his man in front. Causes a lane for Vanderland to come back. Bigler now out of the zone. Van Vliet stays onside this time. A shot. Knuckleballs nearly catches past the shoulder of Woolery, but he got it. Bishop through the middle. Bottles with speed on the neutral zone. Has Julian Johnson down the middle. Toe drags, goes wide. Trying to put a sharp angle backhander well wide off the end board. Chris Martin at the point. Keeps the play along. Bottles gives it back to Martin. Wants the shot. Takes it off the stick leg of DeMitchell and up out of play again. 15:05 to go in this period. Fans want to remind you that CMHIcehockey.com is your one-stop shop for highlights, exclusive interviews, and full game broadcast of men's D3, men's D2, brand new this year, and women's D2 hockey. Go to YouTube and search CME Club Hockey Network with CMHIcehockey.com. You guys got face palms. Look, that ad read was off the top of the dome, so I don't know what you're mad about. We're trying to sell tickets here, right? We're trying to sell views.
Sell tickets.
Tell a friend. You know what? Here's the real advertisement. Why don't you hit that share button? Why don't you hit that I apologize for that stutter. I did not break the system. Maybe I did. I don't know. Sorry about that. We apologize for the loud moments. Play continues. 14:50 to go in this third period. That's Maddox Grimes wearing number 9 for Will Rappoon. Owen Campbell through the middle. Crosses field, Siraki, the give and go. Tried to one-touch it into the glove of York, and that'll stop play.
We apologize. The ice mic went out there, and that caused the static on your end and ours. So we're going to head back to a face-off the left of York on the circle.
Off this board for Campbell. Backhands it in front. Sidestepped York on the far side. Didn't have a weak side man ready, so they couldn't put it home. Campbell is getting worked over by Captain Brendan Karn. They have had a physical series against each other all weekend. Skied in the air. Off the stanchion glass for Rapoon.
Physicality ramping up a little bit more as icing is going to be called. We'll head all the way back to the Ferris State zone.
14-13 to go. Patient with us. I am not a natural sound, so you'll have to just hear our voice for now. Owen Campbell with Siraki. Lucas Hutton and Camara will come on the ice. This top line has been busy. Campbell playing with Connor Morgan this year. Siraki's been the newest addition to this line. He's really not had a role like this throughout his Chippewa career, mainly been a third, fourth liner, and sometimes out of the lineup last year. And that's part of the proponent of all those Division II guys graduating, Parker, is that all these guys like Hop, Siraki, Ryan Grolo get much more ice time.
And Devin, it's going to be a learning curve for them as they get back into the play with the rest of the guys and kind of see where they fit offensively and defensively.
The good part is they have been in that locker room for the longest time, and that's probably a core value of Brendan Martin. You know, the fact that they just simply get all these guys back that are experienced with the team helps a little bit. Off the right pad, good save by York from the stick of Camara. Gaffney pulls that puck back into his hip. He's going to wait. Wanted to sky it for a moment. I was just going to give it back to Connor Morgan because they got to make changes on that Ferris State side. 13:26 to go in the hockey game. We're tied at 3. Siraki gives it for Grolo. They say he's offside, and that will send him back to the bench.
Well, Johnson is coming back on the ice. Looked like he might have just needed a new stick.
Our own ice mic is back. We apologize for that tiny bit of static you may be hearing. It's early season. Work with us. We'll get these difficulties figured out. It'd be better if we didn't mention them at all, but hey, you know. Chippewa Faithful, I know you guys are pretty friendly. I hope you are. Be friendly. Be nice in the comments. Our producer, Brody Finelli, has been doing a wonderful job this weekend. One of the 1s and 2s on the graphics you see. Parker Morrison, my color commentator. I shouldn't say the color commentator. I'm a little possessive over you sometimes.
Well,
facetious, of course. Garrett Vanderlaan has the puck. You're not going to comment?
No, that's going straight on Hockey Out of Context, Evan.
I'm already on there from yesterday, so
that is true. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need to go for 2 for 2 on the weekend.
I don't know. When I let Joe know about this, he might clip that one, send it right over.
All right. Well, I'll know it when I see it. Here's Vanderlaan at the point, rather the point man going D-to-D with his partner DeMarty. Wants to forward this. The top group is back out there for the Bulldogs. It's Bigler. Handcuffs just for a moment. The blocker side of Woolery, who gets the stop. Cleared out the left side. Christopher Martin is in tight as a defenseman. Van Vliet couldn't catch it behind the end board. Allows Armentrout to ice this puck away. So they have to stay on.
Well, not exactly a tired group of defenders, Devin. They have only been on for 30-ish seconds, so
that's definitely a lack of communication. Usually you need somebody at either end of the red line to touch the puck on to avoid that icing, but there was nobody, so it causes it to come back to the right circle in CMU zone. You've got Gilgren on the ice with Armentrout. The face-off man taking this is Ryan Grolo. To his right, Chris Martin, and then the freshman Nick Kuhn wearing number 20. Here's Kuhn. Over the blue line, has down the middle Martin. He takes a shot on that, sailed it high. Armentrout gets back at it. Slowed down by York. Went off his own man's leg and Adams. And now they catch a break. Gaffney, one-on-one as a man off the bench. Now they get numbers back. 1-on-3. Skies that puck well over the glass. Adams with help with Gaffney. Absorbs a check from Kuhn. Too strong for his point man. Gilrery. Forwarded along by Cundiff. Up to Adams. Gets around Hop. Has Isaac Gibbs defending him. Chops the stick. Bowerson uses the body to box him out. Gaffney up this near wing. Hop, nice move to get out of harm's way from Brendan Karn. Hop, back at it. Pickpocketed once again by Karn. Get it back to his defenseman. Gaffney now, the forward. Will find some open room to work. Johnson, this side of the ice. And it's kicked under the leg of Adams. Back to the opposite 15, Bowerson. Who's going to Maddox Grimes, called for it. Forwarded on, looked for Jace Johnson that time. So a lot of this slow neutral zone play, trying to get their systems going here, Parker.
Now, Devin, there's not been a lot other than a back and forth play style for the past few minutes. No physical action, really, and you can definitely see the refs have an effect in the mentality on the players right now, not being able to finish their checks.
Adams wanted Vanderlaan, who wasn't even looking for the puck. He went for a change. Now here's Vanderlaan, chops the puck forward. Van Vliet to chase it. Grimes caught it on a pass for Johnson. Has it stolen. Here's a shot into the pads of Woolery from Joey DeMitchell. 10:15 to go in the game. Tied at 3. Most recent goal at the end of that second period from Ryan Bigler, his third power play goal of the season. Central's 3 goals tonight are from Connor Morgan on the power play, Nathan Bottle's solo effort, and Jace Johnson's first of this season.
Fresh bodies out on the ice for the Chippewas. Hutton, Bishop, and Johnson come in relief of the Chippewas that have been previously out there for more than enough time on their shift.
And the Johnson brothers have had near equal ice time today. You've seen Julian have more of a defensive role in this one. So Vanderlaan tries to get out of harm's way, can't. Camara is the man at the point. Stolen away, Van Vliet backhanded with Bigler down the middle in speed. Lucas Hutton, nice play defensively to prevent Bigler from getting inside. Up to the point, takes a clapper well wide, off the stick that time of DeMarty. Bottles and Johnson with a falling Jake Bishop. Now he'll catch up to him. Johnson had it deflected out. Broken up through the middle of the ice. Defended by DeMarty again. A shot nearly handcuffed York. That one was from Hutton. Now Van Vliet has a man down the middle. He gets double teamed by Hutton and Camara. Fresh Bulldogs on the ice. Here's Colton Cundiff, alternate captain with Karn. Goes D to D. Waiting patiently with Gilrery. Chippewas also make changes. Connor Morgan comes in. Skates wide with it. He'll leave it ahead. Julian Johnson. Siraki to help out. Flips over the leg of Camara. And skied into the bench by Hutton. 8:49 to go.
Well, Central Michigan has been controlling the play for the past couple minutes. 8:49 left to go here at the Marty. So looks like we're going to head back to center ice after that puck is up and out.
Both coaches standing on their respective sides. Ferris State, second-year coach Nolan Smith and Lance Jose, the assistant. Brennan Martin's new staff of assistants with Thomas Rofe, all-time winningest goaltender in Central Michigan D3 history, along with Marcus Katzer helping run the video coordination. Chris Martin at the point. The captain will slide it to his second captain, Owen Campbell. Gilgren. That puck took a weird bounce off their own half wall, and it kicked out where Chase Adams was ready to give it to Ian Gaffney. Lost an edge, gave the puck right back to Martin, who slides around the rim boards. Connor Morgan now to the neutral zone. Owen Campbell finds a shot, score!
Devin, picture perfect play coming from the Chippewas off a miscue from the Bulldogs. Didn't realize who was there. Campbell comes flying in, puts that one on the back of his stick, winds up on the wrister, and that sends the bottle flying off the top of the goal of York. And, you know, that's just a finisher. Icing on the cake as you must, and 4-3.
Well, a lot of time to go. I wouldn't say that's an icing, but it is a miraculous goal by Central's leading scorer from last season.
Icing on the cake is in the bottle flying off, just that little extra touch. I know we have 8 minutes left to go. No, this game is not over yet, Devin.
The bottle off the net is pretty cool. Owen Campbell, his first goal of the season. The captain, newly named this season, along with those 3 alternates. Does it. What a job in front of the net now. The freshman trying to get a lane, and Nick Kuhn, and he draws a penalty. Chippewas will go to the power play for a hook.
Looks like that one coming at the hands of Miller. So they're going to send the Bulldogs to the box. Miller's going to go off, and they're going to bring on their power play unit. 5-on-4 for the Chippewas. 2 minutes. That was Ryan Bigler, and he spent his fair share in the box this weekend, Devin.
Yeah, but he's an important player for them. 3 goals this weekend, all on the power play. So now Central, with 8:05 to go, gets a chance to put another in. Gibbs at the point. Slides it deeper for Siraki. Help with Connor Morgan on his opposite end. This left side is manned by Campbell. Martin looks for a lane. Gibbs put it through the blue paint. Broken up in front by Vanderlaan. Campbell. Bank passes this off the boards to Siraki. Gives it back to him now. Wants the point to reset. Karn will chase Martin. Slide the half wall. Campbell, far side, put in the middle. Siraki missed his intended target. Gibbs slides a shot through traffic all the way to York, and his left pad made the stop, and so did his glove, and they'll get another face-off to the left circle.
Devin, not a lot of shots on net in this power play, but there's still 1:25 left to go. CMU doing a much better job this night than last on setting up the correct play, getting something going instead of just trying to throw it in.
Yeah, a lot more systematic play is what you're talking about, and I think a lot of their momentum was just stifled from the defensive play by Ferris. You didn't see them get a whole lot of high-quality chances like they are now in this third. That's been the story of this game and that one power play goal they had earlier. Still time left in this one. 1:05 on the man advantage. Connor Morgan skates around the zone. Gibbs over to Martin. Cycles it lower for Campbell. Cross-ice saucer to Gibbs. Looks for a lane, takes it. Went off the stick of Adams. The opposite end, Campbell had a lane to shoot, but it was Gilry ready with the block. Martin to Campbell to Gibbs. Takes the shot. That went off the leg of Adams again. Good job by Chris Martin at the opposite blue line, but now a strong play by the opposing captain to slide all the way to Willery, way out of the net.
Good play by Willery there, realizing that he and his man were beat to come out of his crease that far to finish the job.
Connor Morgan shot on net, and York's going to swallow that glove. He's had a lot of good glove saves. That one was a beauty. There is 21 to go, and the penalty to Ryan Bigler for hooking. Chippewas are 1 for 3 on the night. And got to also mention that Ferris has a power play goal from him, if we haven't said it 20 times already. Bigler is really going to be for Ferris State. You know, if you're just looking at their season further, he's going to have to be one of their leading scorers because he has such a presence on any power play unit for their team. And a team like Ferris State, where they may not have the most manpower, they need it. Open lane to shoot. Gibbs on the feed for Bottles, missed the net, and it's off its moorings.
Almost had the backhander there, and York took his right foot, skated and tried to just dive, throw his entire body at the puck. He knew he was beat, so they're going to put the net back on his moorings. Refs are going to check it all up, make sure that he's good, get an equipment check going.
Yeah, that's the second time they're going to check out York's mask. Remember, in the middle part of the second, he had a shot from the left wing, hit his mask, and it flew off. So they're going to check his straps again. Now, the backup tonight for Ferris State this weekend is Lucas Danduran, who's been their primordial starter. But York got the start today because, according to Nolan Smith's word, you need to ride your hot goalie, and that's what York was yesterday, saving 52 on 54 Chippewa shots. Camara and the Chippewas look for one more attack in this power play. Jace Johnson will button hook, give it back to Camara, takes the lane, it fires wide, Bottles for redemption, and York found that with his left pad, and he's going to swallow it. And there's Bigler out of the box. 1 for 4, the Chippewas are today.
So fresh bodies coming out for CMU. Bigler going to step back out there, and Ferris keeping their men on the ice. So back to a 5-on-5 with just over 6 minutes left to go. Central still leading 4-3. And back to the face-off left of York.
Grolo to dig in. He's been a pretty good face-off man for CMU today, but that one's won over by the Bulldogs. This is Colton Cundiff. Slides forward. Even number attack. Bigler out of the box. Shot on net. Off the backside of Rapoon. He chases this. I said Rapoon. That's Maddox Grimes. There I go again. Rapoon is actually the man in the press announcer box tonight, helping with the scoring. Thanks to him and Andrew Miller for giving me the assists. Gaffney waits for a lane in front. They score! That's Ryan Bigler's 4th goal of the weekend, and he nods this game up at 4.
Well, Devin Kyler Bowerson, number 15 for the Chippewas, laid his body out, stretched it out, tried to block the shot, but didn't get anything of it. They'll go around Bowie, go back into the right side, and put that one home to tie this game up with just under 5 minutes and 30 seconds left to play. So we're going to head back to center ice there, and Ferris has got to be feeling this momentum now.
A massive goal for Ferris State when it looked like it was CMU's game. What a game this has been. What a weekend it's been for this opening series. In the past, it's been all Chippewas as they swept the Bulldogs last year, both home and away. And yesterday was the first time Ferris State beat Central Michigan on their own ice since 2018. You have to go back to 2022 for the last time Ferris State beat CMU outright. So, you know, a lot on the line. Again, we talked about how much this really means for both these teams. I mean, you're looking at Ferris State, who hasn't won 2 games against the Chippewas in ages, and Central, who's really trying, as you said, for their morals, trying to get out of this and get ready for what's a really hot Grand Valley State team from their run at Nationals last year. Made it all the way to the national final and bowed out against the eventual champions, Lawrence Tech. Near high stick. Officials say that was fine for Adams. Van Vliet gets around Owen Campbell with a nice move. Up left wing. Kept to the outside by Gilgren. Fresh Bulldogs on the ice. Morgan up this half wall. Shovels it through the middle. Campbell and Siraki can't get to it first. It's Adams. Those two will go off. Cuts through the middle of the ice. Chance on the net. Nice defensive stand by Martin, who lost an edge. Crashes to the end board, but prevented the scoring chance. At the point, Gilrery up that far side where it's Van Vliet with a shot, and it's into the pads of Woolery for another whistle. 3:58 is the time left in this opening weekend. Devin Serra, relief fielder, relief pitcher, whatever you want to call the baseball analogy, for a guy that's really good at calling baseball, Reagan Cleaves, and hockey. You'll hear his voice again in 2 weeks' time when CMU takes on Grand Valley State from Griff's Georgetown. You get to go home, Reagan. It's pretty fun. Bottles, forwarded for Bishop. Sliced out of the hands of DeMitchell. Bottles with Hutton. Bank pass off the boards to keep the attack on. Takes the body out. Julian Johnson makes some move through a couple of defenders. Gives it for Camara. Takes the shot into the hip. That's going to hurt. A Chippewa is down off the shot. It's Bottles. He took that right in the gut, and he is going to skate, holding his stomach back to the bench. And we got a stoppage of play. Boy, unintended friendly fire.
And Johnson going over to make sure he knew that wasn't intentional. Just tried to put a shot on net, and you could see Bottles kind of bottle up, I guess, and put his hands in front of him. To no dismay, though, and he's going to go off. So Hop's going to head to the face-off circle to the left of York.
Yeah, Jace Johnson on his right side, Gibbs on the left. Talk about a power line. Gibbs and Johnson, that's been a duo that Chippewa fans have been waiting for. Camara trying to get this one through traffic, paddled up into the stanchions by Scott York. And with 3:17 to go in this one, Parker, if you're the Chippewas, obviously you want to be sound defensively. That's what Thomas Rolfe told us in the start of the game. But now this is the time where they've been a very aggressive team in this game, and more times than not, it's paid off.
Well, you've got to keep it hemmed in the O zone. You can't let them get more than enough time in the D zone, and that's been a struggle for CMU, is that defense. So keeping the Ferris State Bulldogs hemmed in the O zone is going to be a necessity for the Chippewas come 3 minutes left.
Yeah, if you can keep cycling that puck, take it from the outside end, good things have been happening. Reversal of yesterday when it was all Ferris State with the puck luck. Here's Camara. Oh, lost that puck for just a moment, but kept it in. Nice play. But this one now comes out. He has to turn around and just dump it off his skate blade. And here's Cundiff, the alternate captain. Tried to forward it over the stick. It hopped up Mitchell. Camara will dump it back from the red line.
Just behind the red line there, so that's going to be
Really?
called
They're
for
going
an
to call
icing.
it, yeah.
Yep.
And you see Camara's right arm. He's saying, what the heck? Because that looked very close.
It was just behind the red line there, Devin. Yep, and then he got hit pretty hard afterwards.
You've got it right for sure, but it's just a thing where maybe he looked up for just too long and, routine stuff. 2:35 though.
Oh.
And okay, so it wasn't an icing, so they're putting this puck at center.
That's
It was very close. I will say that, but
second time it's
right.
happened tonight where the refs have gotten an icing call wrong.
Yeah, well, yesterday they had a similar situation late in the third, and they also corrected that. So
As long as they correct it, that's all that matters.
exactly, they've done a good job so far. Lucas Hutton took a soft shot, got through a couple of bodies, settled down by DeMarty. Forwarded. Here's Van Vliet. He can fly. Poke check. Great defensive play by Isaac Gibbs, senior of Novi. And look out, Bulldog crashed into Woolery, and Hutton takes a few shoves. Camara gets into Adams' face. Hutton gets shoved over. He's sitting on the ground.
Yeah, that's going to be, I believe, Brennan Karn that slid into the net for the Chippewas. So I'm going to assume the refs are definitely going to dish out their sentence here, as they haven't been light on them thus far in the game. But
I will say, did you see what happened that caused Karn to fall into the net?
no, I didn't. They're not going to send anyone off, actually.
That would be a dramatic turn if it was. 2:05 is left in this hockey game. Knotted at 4 on opening day for Central's Martin Ice Arena. A great crowd on hand. We've got Chippewa fans rimming the boards to our right. You've got parents and supporters to our left. We got a stoppage of play. It looks like an official has gathered with head coach Nolan Smith for Ferris State. I think he's arguing the time on the clock. Let's see what they set it to.
They actually might be arguing the penalty here, Devin. But to no dismay, it's not going to come.
The only reason I'd say that is that he was talking to Andrew Miller, serving as press announcer, if you would. But 2:03 is the time we resume play. Ferris State and Central Michigan, for the third straight year, gather on opening night. It's an icing on the Chippewas. Ferris State hasn't had a lot of luck in this series. 4 of the last 6 have gone to Central Michigan. There was a brief period in 2018 where Ferris State swept the Chippewas. That would be the last time you have a scenario like that. So, with 1:55 to go, things are going to get interesting. Bowerson, off the chest protector of a defender in front. Morgan now catches up to that puck. And stolen by the man originally in there, Garrett Vanderlaan.
Close chance for Morgan there. He just kept onto the puck, but Chippewa's going to recollect. He's got it
steal.
again.
Morgan with the shot. Turned it wide to the left post. Bowerson keeps the zone pressure alive. Ferris State's Chase Adams gives it to Van Vliet. Changes going on. Notices that. Gives it up to Cundiff. Campbell, the lone Fox, is hounding that side of the ice with Connor Morgan coming in. Siraki, poke checks, gets ahead of Ryan Bigler for just a moment. 2 goals once again for Bigler today. Cundiff, sticked away Morgan. Gilgren from his knees defends it. Just trying to backhand this to a slot area and give his team time to go off. They will. 51 seconds to go in regulation time. It's DeMarty. Sidestep Chris Martin. Behind the play, Cundiff retrieves it from Jake Bishop. Out of the net is Woolery. Chris Martin, Nathan Bottles. Nearing OT in the home opener for Central Michigan. Jake Bishop waits for help. Takes a shot on net. That one hit a couple of bodies wide. Gilgren now from a sharp angle missed it. You've got 13 seconds left. Here's Ian Gaffney with a rush the other way. Down the middle is Bigler. Goes to the middle. Shot on net. Puck open in the back door, and Bigler couldn't find it under his feet. 2 seconds, and that's going to do it for regulation time. A last flurry for Trevor Van Vliet and company. Bigler open on the back door, and we have overtime in game number 2 of this 24-25 season.
Well, Devin, you mentioned Bigler, and he has been ever so important for this Ferris State team. And he's got 2 on the night last night, 2 tonight, and he's going to try to look for that Hattie. I assume he'll be starting in overtime for the Bulldogs.
And you want to talk about, we haven't said it too much, the fatigue level. Opening weekend is the hardest games you play all season because you are coming off the offseason, or maybe you find out who conditioned and who didn't. We're going to have extra hockey here, folks. 4-4. Central and Ferris State coming down to the wire. Next goal wins on CCHN. Couldn't have asked for more. Overtime in the home opener for Central Michigan. Devin Sarah, Parker Morrison from Martin Ice Arena. Parker, 4 different Chippewas on the board today. And Ryan Bigler, the story for Ferris State, 4 goals in this weekend, 3 of them on the power play. He has the last one, and he wants the last word for Ferris State, looking for their first sweep since 2018. We're going to have 3-on-3 hockey for 5 minutes, NHL style, if you would. And Bigler, the man we just mentioned, has been terrific for them. On the other side of things, you've got a side of players that have been great themselves. Jace Johnson, Chris Martin with an assist tonight, and Isaac Gibbs. The King has returned, trying to do King-like things here in overtime. Next goal wins. This is Ryan Bigler. 2 goals today. He had 2 yesterday in their home opener at Avoglaven Ice Arena. Off the skate. Jake Gilvery wants to reset things, slow it down. Ferris State doesn't want to make any mistakes here with their puck possession time.
We've got a lot more room to work with here, Devin.
And there it is. Jace Johnson with a nice steal. He looks to put a shot into the chest protector of York. And a face-off in Ferris State zone will come.
3 new bodies coming out for Central Michigan.
And it's Owen Campbell, Camara, and Connor Morgan. Remember, Morgan has the only power play goal of this game for CMU. They were 1 for 4 today. And Owen Campbell has the most recent goal for the Chippewas. Penalty coming up here.
That's going to be on Owen Campbell, tripping the call. And he's looking at it like he lost his stick. Not a lot you can do there. And timeout's going to be taken by Ferris.
A frustrated Owen Campbell will go to the penalty box. Ferris State has 1 power play goal in this game, and it's from, you guessed it, Ryan Bigler. So, with, looks like 3:55 is the time on the clock, you're going to have some 3-on-2. Or they might make this 4-on-3 because technically 3-on-2 is odd number on the group.
I believe they're going to make this a 4-on-3
yeah,
in favor
because that's
of
standard.
Ferris.
So 4-on-3, it's 4-on-3. There's no such thing as a 3-on-2 really in hockey. So
yeah, that would give too much ice space to work with.
That's what I was
make
trying
it
to say the
completely
first
unfair.
time.
Yep.
It'd just be weird. It's Reagan gestures to me over there. Our rules analyst, hey, having fun? Well, if you want to hear Reagan's breakdown of this game, go back to the second period and section Article 74.1 of what is and what is not a penalty for ripping the stick of a goalie out. Anyway, we got 4-on-3 in overtime. It's Ferris State with the advantage in a long huddle with head coach Nolan Smith. If you're CMU's defense, what are you preaching here?
Well, Devin, it's going to be Morgan, Siraki, and Camara out there, so you're really just looking to clear the zone as fast as you can. There's 3:55 left in overtime, 2 minutes on the clock in the power or the penalty kill for them. They want to get this out as quick as possible.
There's Cundiff at the point, slides it over to Bigler. Thought about the shot. Siraki out that way, an open lane to shoot. Give and go! Shot saved from Van Vliet on Woolery. Stops at the left circle. Looking for his lane. He's going to wait. Stick dangles with it. Cundiff calling for it is Van Vliet on that left side. It'll be Bigler to space things out. Back to Cundiff. Gives it up. They're going to tag. Van Vliet calling for it. Takes the shot. Blocked in front. Sprawling out is Woolery. Back to his feet now. Cundiff slides the left side. One touch for Bigler. Cundiff again. Waits on it. Van Vliet, the shooter. Left pad stop by Woolery. But they keep the zone. 1:10 to go in their power play. In overtime. Next goal wins. Cundiff. One more time for Van Vliet. He winds up. Doesn't know where it is. And it's cleared out of the zone by Siraki.
A minute left to go in the penalty kill. Great saves by Woolery, keeping them in this game. They're going to get some bodies changed out and fresh on the ice.
Much needed. It's Sam Camara with bottles. Turned it over to Karn. In front for Van Vliet. What a stop. Woolery stopped it on the chest protector and it bounced over the crossbar. Up to the point now. Karn waits with it now. An injured Bulldog trying to get off. It's Van Vliet. Winds up. Shot wide of the left corner. That was Bigler looking for the hat trick. And a cap on this game. 19 seconds left in overtime. Bottles. Pressures Bigler out of the zone. And there's Chase Adams winds up, and he missed that also. Boy, a couple of Bulldog chances at point-blank range, and they can't find iron.
And Devin, that was Van Vliet. That was the injured Bulldog getting off the ice. They're not going to call icing. Wave that off.
We go back to 3-on-3. 1:48 to go in overtime. Stolen by Campbell. Allows time for Morgan to slide to their own zone.
4-on-4 ensues
We've got
until the next
4-on-4.
stoppage in play.
Yeah,
Yep.
right. That's a good point. Thank you. I didn't see the final man come in, and Chris Martin. But it's turned over. Bulldogs with a chance. Adams gets collapsed in by 3 defenders. Now Owen Campbell with a race the other way. He's all alone, though. He's got to wait for help coming. Nearly stolen by DeMitchell. Martin takes the shot on net. Deflected wide. Siraki stops. Pinned up the boards by Gilry. At those end boards. Campbell meets with it. Martin takes the shot on net. Blocked his own man, Siraki. Still 4-on-4. A minute to go in overtime. Martin for Campbell. Takes one. Left pad save. York sprawls out. And he's got in his glove. So that will take a man off the ice. And now it'll be back to 3-on-3.
Well, that was a great shot from the Chippewas. Siraki actually turned his body and blocked that one. Looked like it was heading towards the net. But we got 57 seconds left to play. We got to shake that off. We're going to go back to a 3-on-3 timeout, actually, in favor of, I believe the Chippewas took that one.
That's Brennan Martin over there wanting to collect his team. And we're going to keep it here.
Well, Devin, you've got a good not an icing call, a good face-off now in the offensive zone. They've got to really capitalize on this one. Keep it hemmed in the offensive zone because there's a lot of dangerous players on the Ferris State team and the likes of Trevor Van Vliet and Bigler who have capitalized on more than one opportunities on the rush for the Bulldogs. Not only tonight, but last night as well. So those are very dangerous players for the Bulldogs that CMU's got to keep on lock.
Tell you what, though, that goaltender in net for CMU and Caleb Woolery, And overtime stepped up when he's needed to. A couple of point-blank opportunities, chest protector stops. Haven't really been sure where they've come from. Some of them have been handcuffing him where he can't find a glove to put down on the ice. And when you get that kind of momentum, I mean, it's been all Ferris State in this overtime. But with a minute left now, you've got essentially 57 seconds. You get a face-off draw for this CMU team. You've got Gibbs, Bottles, and Chris Martin. What a trio to really set you up for a one-timer chance.
A lot of veteran presence there on the ice for the Chippewas.
It's Gibbs returning to this lineup for the first time in what has been 200-plus days, dating back to last season. They gave it up. Ferris State won the draw. And this is Ryan Bigler, the 4-goal weekend man and the tying man. Takes the shot on net, and a glove stopped by Woolery.
And he stepped up there, and just as I say it, Devin, Bigler, one of the biggest threats on the Bulldogs for the Chippewas, takes a nice little wrister there, and Woolery comes up big and clutch in overtime.
37 seconds is the time on the clock. To dig in for them is Brendan Karn. He won it back to Cundiff. Fumbled it for just a moment. He's going to slide it the end board way. Chris Martin out of harm's way. And if Isaac Gibbs hurries, he's got a man down the middle, and Bottles. And now here comes Martin. Stays onside. Give is up for Martin, who goes to the net. Score! Chris Martin, overtime winner!
The captain of this Chippewa team, not 1 year, but 2, finishes it for the Chippewas on a beautiful play. Goes on the left hand with a stick to evade defenders, comes back to his right and pops it right over the likes of Scott York to bring the Chippewas a victory, 5-4 in overtime.
After it looked like all Ferris State in overtime, the rush down the middle, set up by Isaac Gibbs. Chris Martin, overtime hero in this home opener. And Chippewas have won 6 straight at home, dating back to last season, and get the split in this series. What a game, and what a night for 5 Chippewas that scored today. Connor Morgan, Nathan Bottles, Jace Johnson, Owen Campbell, and finally, Christopher Martin, the captain, the hero from Martin Ice Arena today. Post-game show is coming up next for analysis and breakdown of this one, and get you ready for their matchup with Grand Valley in 2 weeks. The final in this one, 5-4, Chippewas win in overtime in their home opener. As far as home openers go, it doesn't get much more picturesque than this. You had brawls, you had high-scoring chances, you had pretty much everything under the sun. Great goaltending, and ultimately a 5-4 overtime win for Central Michigan. The hero is Christopher Martin in his 6th season, second as captain for the Chippewas. Parker Morrison, this one was entertaining from start to finish. In overtime, which saw Ferris State pretty much dominate play because of that penalty on Owen Campbell. They kill it off on the 4-on-3. 4-on-4 is entertaining, and then all it takes is a rush the other way, set up by Isaac Gibbs to Martin to win it.
Well, Devin, a lot of shots hit Woolery's chest, and he did a great job of stepping up to the top of his crease, looking big, and then dropping back into the butterfly when needed. And that was huge for the Chippewas, making some very clutch saves to keep them in that one.
Yeah, and you talk about an overtime where he had 2 point-blank chances right in front of him, caught it on the chest protector. For a moment, didn't know where that puck was, but you were talking about yesterday how Ferris State had all of this puck luck, things going their way. I don't think Central necessarily had more of that today, but they took advantage of wide-open chances when they needed it. They stuffed redirects. They had some one-on-one goals from Nathan Bottles and Jace Johnson that were beautiful. And at the end of the day, their star players stepped up and are the reason for this one.
Oh, absolutely. Martin played phenomenally. If I could talk, phenomenally. Like you said, it's his 2nd season as captain for the Chippewas, and he really showed that leadership tonight, giving them not only a morale boost from the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, but you take that into overtime, you hop out on the ice, and Martin's on there, and you know it's going to be a good shift.
Yeah, some notable stats from this one. A goal and 2 assists for Christopher Martin in the win. We'll talk about him a little more too, but a goal and an assist from Connor Morgan. Goals from 5 different Chippewas today in the likes of Johnson, Owen Campbell, Connor Morgan, and Nathan Bottles, who's been a fun story to follow considering that he's one of the older guys on this team, transferred from NCAA Division III, and we knew he had that lights-out ability, but I felt like he was everywhere tonight, both offensively and defensively. We saw him on the penalty kill. That was great. I believe they held Ferris State for 1 for 3. Central falls out 1 for 4 on the power play, but much better result considering they were 0 for 5 yesterday on the man advantage.
And you mentioned Bottles just playing all over the ice, a full length, and he had some very key stick lifts and some poke checks that kept it out of the Chippewa net, and that's why Bottles is such a key to this team. He's not taking on a leadership assistant or captain role this year, but he's still such a big part in that leadership, whether he wears the C or the A or not.
Yeah, and it's about stepping up in big moments when you need him. He's one of those guys that did it, and Central Michigan gets their 6th home victory in a row. They haven't been so good on the road. Saw the loss yesterday, but they evade what would have been a Ferris State sweep for the first time since 2018. All right, let's take you through now our 3 stars of the game presented by CMHIcehockey.com. Parker, take us through this because we have a lot.
Well, number 1 is obviously got to go to the captain, the overtime winner, Chris Martin. I mean, he played phenomenally on and off the ice, and he had 1 goal, 2 assists, and those aren't usually big numbers that you see out of the guy, so it's impressive to see how well he played tonight.
Especially the way he did it. I mean, you see him streak down the left side, and you're looking at maybe a pad save by York and Gibbs down the middle to redirect it, but he just beat him cleanly on the left side, and that made it much more exciting as he got dogpiled in that corner on the bench for the winner. Who's your 2nd and 3rd?
Secondly, has to go to Woolery. The amount of overtime saves that he made were just so clutch to keep the Chippewas in that one. And throughout overtime and the rest of the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, he made 33 on 37 saves, which is very impressive. You know, that guy is only a sophomore, and he didn't get a whole lot of ice time in the beginning of last year. That was mainly Zavelson that came in and played for us. And then Woolery kind of stepped out 2nd semester, got a little bit more experience, got a little bit more ice time. And now we've got a new goaltending coach behind the bench who's also the assistant coach as well. And he's been phenomenal in mentoring Woolery. Like I said, he talked to us before the game. He said, you know, Woolery didn't do anything wrong last night. It was just his defense not stepping up where they needed him. Defense stepped up tonight, and Woolery played the same great game he always has.
3rd star you have
Bigler for the Bulldogs, and I mean, he played phenomenally. We'd love to give it to another Chippewa, but
when you have 3 power play goals in 1 weekend, 4 total, and you had the tying goal to send it to overtime, you can't really bet against anybody like that.
Exactly. You
and
can't
for
really
that
argue it.
That Ferris State team, by the way, they have some talented guys up front. Him, Van Vliet, Brennan Karn flying around all night, and then you get a guy like Chase Adams who's digging in the corner, Joey DeMitchell. the list goes on, and obviously a talented tandem there with Scott York and Lucas Danderen. They'll be a fun team to watch just from a distance as they go through the rest of this season.
Well, for the amount of time that Bigler spent in the box, not only yesterday, but tonight as well, you'd expect his stats to be pretty low considering the amount of ice time he was off. And
makes it more impressive,
It
really.
does make it more impressive given that he had, 4 penalties, 3 or 4 tonight, and I believe 6 in total on the weekend. That's a number that usually would get you benched for the rest of the game, but, he's such an important part of this team along with a couple other club dogs for them. So, I mean, you can't really bench someone that's that influential for you.
Some other notables from this game. Andrew Peel, number 11 for Ferris State, was sent off after brawl during the part of the second period, middle of the second period. He received a game misconduct, gone for this one, could be gone for another 3 weeks. We'll have to see on the updates on that. Brendan Clements took a puck to the hip, that was Bottles. He should be okay. Brendan Clements went down earlier. He went back on the ice. You have to wonder he's going to be a little roughed up, but how about his resiliency to come back in this game when it looked like he was going to be done for the day?
Well, as a defenseman, you're always going to have to be tough, and that Brendan Clements is, it looked like he got pretty roughed up against the boards. Maybe the wind got knocked out of him, causing him to, stay down on the ice a little longer. But the team took to him, made sure that he got to the bench safe, skated for him, so he didn't have to use his legs, wanted to make sure that he was completely okay, and then got out onto the ice about 10 minutes later, started skating around, feeling things back out, and he should be good for next game come Grand Valley.
Well, you better be a tough customer if you're going to play in this barn because it's cold as, well, I can't say H-E-L-L because that would be very juxtapositioning. What is a better word for that?
Well, you can say H-E double hockey sticks as to the sport we're playing.
I can say and test of 5 years in this rink that if I get hit with a stick and slammed to the boards and it's cold as heck in there, I think it's going to hurt like double. I'm glad I'm up here all warm and stuff because those guys are warriors out there. They had to be warriors today to get this win, and what a fun one. For Chippewa fans that brought a large ruckus crowd, bunch of students here as well, ringing the boards around. It was incredible, just to put it simply. Looking ahead, this Chippewa team goes to take on now what was a national runner-up in Grand Valley State 2 weeks' time on September 27th. Reagan Cleese will be back with you on this broadcast, and this will be it for me for the foreseeable future. I already said my goodbyes in Michigan in last season, so not going to do that again. But thank you all to the Chippewa fans that came up and said hello to me, said thank you, said we hate your guts. Just kidding. Nobody said that. But I'm glad that I got to come back and spend some time with you, Parker.
Oh, of course,
It was a very fun weekend. We're going to have some more fun tonight. Wink, wink. Not like that. Don't put me on No Context College Hockey. I'm already on there for something yesterday. But we had a fun time.
Oh, yeah. No, the rust definitely shaking off a little bit.
And we fought some adversity. By the way, this guy drove to Walmart to pick up a missing part for us yesterday, got back within 20 minutes, and I said, well, geez, did you speed?
Well, yeah. Of course I did. That's not a testament to how fast I am.
Of course I went 100 miles in Big Rapids. There's nobody there.
That's not a testament to how fast I am out of the car. It's a testament to how fast I am in the car. So.
There you go. You also have some pretty short legs, so you have to really sprint like a flash or whatever.
You're shorter than me. But no, you're 100% right.
I am, though. I am the shortest guy here, probably.
Yeah.
That's why I took a dig at you, because we're both somewhat undersized men. Anyway, point is, he's bigger than me. He's always in the gym. Muscle stud. But I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with this No Context College Hockey. Anyway, fun night, fun weekend. Chippewas get the split, the overtime victory. Thank you to our camera personnel tonight. Zach did a great job on the ones and twos. Our producer was Brody Finelli, as always, running the sticks. He'll be with you all season. Reagan Cleese, our rules analyst, who was battling a cold all week, came out, showed out, and provided service. So thank you to him for toughing it out. He'll be back with you, as he mentioned, on September 27th, when the Chippewas take on number 3 Grand Valley State from Griff's Georgetown. They'll have it all for you here on CCHN. Also, be on the lookout for the Division II men's and women's teams to start their season very soon. So, want to give our final thanks to everybody here at CCHN and the fans that came out. Parker Morrison, appreciate being with you once again.
Of course.
And for our entire Chippewa team, my name is Devin Serra. Thank you for watching this presentation of CMU D3 Hockey. Final score, Chippewas 5, Ferris State 4. The hero, Christopher Martin, in overtime. Have a great night, everybody.